We are live, guys. Welcome along to the very first episode of the Vinyl Whistle. What on earth is the Vinyl Whistle?
Vinyl Whistle.
The Vinyl Whistle is a stream that might become more than just this single one. You never know. But what it is for sure right now is a bunch of people talking about sport, talking about music. Who knows what else will come up, but the plan is to keep it to sport and music and showing off some records. I'm joined by some excellent guys at the minute that you can probably see there, but I could say they need no introduction, but that's daft. They do need an introduction. So I forgot. We've got Christian at the Vinyl Sanctuary. Christian's been there from the right at the beginning of the World Cup on vinyl streams. That's where this thing was born. A person with an amazing record collection, eclectic taste, someone who can speak so eloquently about his musical passion. And Christian can hold the fort in a power cup, which he's done at least once for a long period of time. So Christian, great to have you along, pal. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, mate, and thank you for such a lovely introduction. That's very kind of you, and lovely to see you again, David, as well. It's nice to be back on with David, because last time I was on with him, there was a power cut at my end, not your end, Gordon, but I'm keeping everything crossed and touching wood that that doesn't happen tonight. So it's lovely to be with you both, and I'm really looking forward to being on the first ever episode of the Vinyl Whistle. So congratulations to you, Gordon, on launching your new series. Brilliant.
Excited and delighted to be here, and delighted to have with us on this very first episode one of the preeminent members of not just the UK VC, but we're talking global. The dashing and debonair ambassador for music across the Atlantic, just back from a globe-trotting epic adventure at MGK's Bash, Canada too, Buffalo. Am I right in saying we're sitting in the presence of UK VC royalty, President-elect? It's Mr. David Atkinson. How are you, sir?
Embarrassed, that's how I am. I'm good. I'm over the jet lag from I returned last week.
Well, by the way, David, it's great to see you've got the Toon shirt on as well.
Oh, you're very welcome. I've got about 7 or 8 of them in the wardrobe. I never wear them these days. A bit shabby, but I thought this is my favourite.
With my poor eyesight and the small screen, you look like this is Shearer. It's like Shearer's in the room.
That's right, yeah. Shearer's in the room, yeah. Absolutely.
Is it the Shearer vintage kit you've got on there with the blue?
Yeah, this is probably around about 98, something like that.
Les Ferdinand.
Mint condition. Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's a classic.
Definitely. I think of Asprilla when I see that strip. Wasn't he playing around that time?
No, he didn't play in this one. No,
did he not?
He played in the one that was either the Grandad button down just at the front.
The Grandad,
or the one that just had the
the collar,
crew neck sort of thing.
And it used to be like 4 sizes too big for him, didn't it?
It was, it was. He was amazing.
Oh, yeah. What a player!
Yeah.
And now joining us, another. I was going to say totem pole, but that's a stupid expression. What do I mean by that? We've got the twin peaks of the UK VC here. Rob is like a sage, a mentor, a sensei figure in the UK VC, I think. And I'm delighted to have Rob along for the first ever Vinyl Whistle as well. So, how are you, Rob?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all right.
Cool.
Don't get too excited, Rob.
Nope, it's okay.
Keep calm and carry on, Rob. Keep calm and carry on.
I was thinking that Newcastle shirt will look good, won't it, in the Championship next season?
Oh yes, Rob.
Hey, listen. It's the season after. And by the way, I don't mind because we win more than we lose in the Championship.
Who's that new manager for Newcastle? He'd be great for Scrabble, wouldn't he?
Don't ask me to pronounce his name. I've heard it 100 times since.
What's his name?
But I've forgotten. I've forgotten.
Straight from Saudi Arabia, isn't he?
Yeah,
He managed in Austria, I think, before he went over there.
Yeah, he won a few competitions in Austria as well. But apparently, he's from the Red Bull stable.
Yeah, he came from
apparently
Salzburg.
I'm not really. I think Rob knows this. I'm not really a football fan. I'm just a Newcastle fan. Yeah. But apparently this guy has got an excellent pedigree, and he would have or could have been a really great footballer, but he did his ACL when he was quite young. And had to kind of retire early. So he's 38 years old, and he's going to be, I think, managing a team which, according to Rob, is almost certain to go down. And at this point, I can't disagree.
Whoa, it's a big call.
That is a big call.
As bad as that?
Well, we'll talk about what our expectations are of the season, and I'll make my little monologue then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gonna get into
listen, what I thought I would do. Just the final whistle, just to explain what it's meant to be, builds on the live streams that we did during the World Cup that you were all part of. It was absolutely great. And I suppose the idea behind it is just getting a kind of regular gathering of folk from the VC, but not just to talk about music, to kind of widen out into sport. So the World Cup was a good sort of starting point for that, but believe it or not, the season's kicked off now, or the seasons are kicking off now, and that's different sports as well. So I'm quite keen to hear from just folk talking about different types of sports as we go on. Think about it like hitting the terraces and you talk to your mates over time, there they are, or you're in a social club and there these guys are, and sometimes they pull in a bag of records and they show you what they've got, that kind of thing. So pretty loose, pretty laid back. That's the vibe of it, and I'm hoping that over time there'll be a load of folk who kind of pile in from, quite frankly, all over the world. And on that note, we have Fitz, very excited that Fitz from Canada will be here at 10, so we can talk loads of rubbish about UK football in the meantime though, and then Fitz will come on and he's going to tell us all about his sort of passions, which are not for football, which is kind of cool. So I wondered if you wanted to kick off with these basic sort of questions. I want to make this episode about what makes a fan. I'm kind of curious about that idea. You know, I think there's a lot of links between being a fan of a football team and the football team that you support, and maybe how you get into certain types of bands, etc. Obviously it changes, but I'm curious about that. And I'm curious definitely to hear from folk out in the comments on this as well, because I don't really know out in the VC what sort of sports and what sort of teams people like. Hope it's not just a bunch of glory hunters out there in the VC. I'd imagine it's not. So do you fancy just going through those wee questions? The first one's there. Who do you support and why? I can tell who Dave's got, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh.
If Rob's away for some merch there, I think.
Some merch, yeah.
There he's got some stuff. Dave, who do you imagine? I'm blind, I can't see what you're wearing, but who do you support and why?
Well, I'm from Newcastle, and in Newcastle, nobody really supports Liverpool or Man United or Arsenal or Chelsea. You're obliged to support the home team, the hometown team. So we all support Newcastle. So I was brought up early years, and my uncle was a season ticket holder at Newcastle. Just he saw everything. He went to cup finals and all that sort of business. So he was probably more than my dad. He got me into supporting Newcastle. So and I was just saying before, you know, it's like over the years I've become less and less interested in football as an entertainment, and just more and more focused on Newcastle United. And so I'm looking forward to the day when Sky or TNT offers, or the club offers, a season ticket to watch every single game on television live, and then I'll ditch my interest in other teams completely.
Interesting, yeah.
Christian, how about you?
Right, well, I'm a Manchester United fan. So I grew up in a town called Newtley Willows in the northwest of England, for people who might not have heard of it. People have largely heard of it because of a certain Mr. Rick Astley, one of our most famous sons. So Newton is pretty much slap bang in the middle of Liverpool and Manchester. So, you know, you've got the two big cities there. And it's quite common growing up in Newton for people to be fans of United, City, Liverpool, Everton.
Tranmere.
Tranmere is common around Newton. And then, like I was going to say, some of them smaller clubs, you get like a bit of a smattering of like Preston fans and Bolton and like other clubs like that as well. In the experience that I had growing up in the late 80s and 90s. So the reason that I started to follow Man United, and that was probably when I was about 8 years old, that started to be about 1990, is my sister's boyfriend, who's now her husband, my brother-in-law, was a huge fan. And his brother, who were both quite a bit older than me, pretty much kind of, I wouldn't say indoctrinated me into Man United, but they were very, very influential in a lot of ways on my life anyway. Like they would, they'd play football with me outside on the local field. And, I remember my brother-in-law getting me my first, jersey and stuff like that when I was still very young. So I think the influence of them two definitely steered me in the direction of being a Man United supporter. And this was at a time when United weren't winning anything. So it's not as if like I was kind of jumping on the glory bandwagon. It would have probably have been from a success point of view, more, I suppose, gratifying to support Liverpool or something like that. But a lot of my family members are Liverpool fans. So I think part of me was doing it maybe with a bit of an act of rebellion against them as well. Now
Like
that I
it.
look back on it, yeah.
So a bit of geography and a bit of family, isn't it? Or older influences.
Definitely, yeah. Because my brother-in-law is 12 years older than me, and his younger brother, is about 9 or 10 years older than me. So if you think of the age gap, I'm like an 8-year-old kid. They're like sort of like 19, 20. So looking up to them as people and obviously their influence in general, and then they're not convincing me, but persuading me to support United. I think that was a really big influence on me growing up.
Yeah. And in a similar way, I think that's where a lot of record collections or musical interests start, don't they? If you get the older brother, the big, the neighbour or whatever with a decent record collection. So
the same brother-in-law taught me how to play the guitar as well. So again, he has been a big influence in my life. Yeah.
So Newcastle, Man U.
Yeah.
Rob. How about yourself? Who do you support and why?
So I'm an Oldham Athletic fan. So,
It's cracking up that like that.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
I was born in Boundary Park Hospital, which is across the road from the ground. So I was, literally born just outside the ground. My dad took me to my first game when I was 8 in 1973.
Wow.
We lost 1-0 at home on the 3rd of February 1973. We lost 1-0 at home to Southend. And I was looking today because I knew that I went to a Man City game against Liverpool. So I found out that game was 2 weeks later. I went to Man City against Liverpool. It was 1-1 draw at Main Road. So I kind of, when I was young, I followed Oldham. I didn't really have a favourite team until I was about 16 because I used to go to United, Oldham. My dad used to take me to Oldham and I used to go to United. This is how cheap it was. I used to go to United one week. I were a paper boy, and I think as a paper boy I might have got £2.50 a week. And I think my mum might have given me £1 a week. So I had about £3.50 a week. I used to buy singles and I used to go and watch City 1 week. City was 65p and United was 70p. So that's someone who's like 13, 14 could afford to go. Whereas
Amazing.
Now, what's the cheapest ticket to go to watch, even for a young person? So that's one of the things that the games, it's gone out of the pocket of young kids in that way.
Yeah.
Young kids can only go if they're with the parents, really, can't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I used to go, and then when I got 16 and I started working, I started to go. I was playing as well, so I played football. I used to play 3 times a week, and I used to go watching Oldham then. So I had seasons where I never missed a game, home and away. So 1985, I never missed a game. I went to every game. And then other seasons, I might have just missed a couple of games. So we used to be like a crew of us. It was fantastic times. It was when I was I would have been 21, 22, 23. I was going all over the country, getting into a few skirmishes and just having a great time. It was brilliant. On the way back, it was always great on the way back because Oldham used to be really good for going out. And we used to be on the train or on the coach usually on the train coming back. And there might be like 30 of us, and we'd be saying, right, who's going home, who's going out? You know, most of us, we'd just go straight out. We just go straight out. So it was a big part of my life. Football, a bigger part of my life than music. You know, so not as much now, but when I was younger, because I played, and I also loved the camaraderie of our crew and just this, you know, what we got up to. So yeah.
Did you ever get arrested, Rob?
No, I didn't get arrested.
Okay.
I've had a few. I've had a few. Yeah, I've had loads of. Crystal Palace was bad, and Leeds United was always bad.
Always
I never
bad.
got arrested. No, I'm a fast runner.
I think there's got to be some stories about those away trips, Rob.
Oh yeah, loads. Honestly,
yeah,
loads of stories. Yeah. Plymouth. Yeah, Plymouth. They were thrown. I think there was like they bricked our coach. We went to Plymouth in, I think it was 86, and we hired a coach, and the coach driver, he fucking parked it in the bus station in the centre of Plymouth and thought that was normal. So I ended up like hiding. There were loads of us who were like there was loads of lads hanging around, you know, outside Plymouth bus station.
Yeah.
Got bricked. There's been loads of. Sometimes I forget, and then I remember stuff. I remember stuff today. You might not been thinking about it for like 40 years, but yeah, it was good. I don't know I know Dave used to go. Used to go a lot, didn't you?
I did, yeah, I did.
I
didn't go to too many away games.
Right.
My first away game, I got thrown out of the ground in Nottingham.
Right.
For threatening behaviour, but I was such a softie. They let me back in.
Yeah.
Who were you threatening, Dave?
I think we went 2-0 down, and I started climbing over the stands to get to Forest fans.
Oh,
I mean, that was a terror. That journey, we had a minibus from Newcastle, and before we got we were coming out of Tyneham Way. I was sitting in the back, and there was one of the lads next to me. We got followed by a police car, and he started giving the V's to the police car. We hadn't even gone like 10 miles down the road, and we were stopped on the motorway. Yeah. And I think some of our booze was we'd been drinking since 6 a.m. in a bus shelter near home. And when we were picked up, anyway, I think that all the alcohol got taken off by the police, and we were sent on our way. Yeah,
brilliant.
But I wasn't a bad guy. I wasn't a bad guy. Yeah.
No.
Cool. For me, going back to kind of childhood stuff, I'm from the west of Scotland. I'm from Greenock, and if you're from Greenock, it's a wee bit different to Dave in Newcastle. You actually have choices to make. Some sort of tricky ones, actually, a bit of pressure. West of Scotland means generally you can support your local team, which in my case is Greenock Morton. Yeah. Or you can go for you can choose one of the big guns, Rangers or Celtic, and that's often to do with your upbringing. Let's say your school, could be your religion, it could be the boys' brigade, it could be all of those things. So growing up, I was a kind of by default a Morton fan. I can remember the first game. It was my next door neighbour. He used to go take his son to the games a lot. So one day he asked me if I wanted to come along. Went along up to Capello, must have been about mid-80s, about 85, something like that. Can't remember actually who we played, but it was a great experience just being out in the ground. And from then I started to follow, not follow Morton around Scotland. Went to lots of games at home with my pals. Bit like Rob, saved up my paper round money on a Saturday. Head up there. The stadium's an interesting stadium because you can basically kind of walk around it. You can follow you can move from the kind of terracing behind the goal. And it was great fun as kids doing that. Basically spending a lot of time trying to wind up the opposing team's goalkeeper, or abuse the linesman in a kind of childish way. So Morton were my local team. I think I'm going to confess a bit of a glory hunter though as well. About 1983, I was 7. I became a bit of an Aberdeen fan. Aberdeen were the top team in Scotland then, and I kind of formed a bit of an attachment to Fergie. Just thought Fergie was amazing. So when Fergie went down south, I had a wee soft spot for Man United as well, just really to do with Fergie. So that's a wee connection for you, Christian. But when I was a bit older, I started to watch Rangers as well. Went to quite a few games at Ibrox, been to quite a lot of European games. Get a bit fed up with it though, because the atmosphere in the stadiums can be pretty rancid at times. So I've kind of given that up. Back to Morton. Followed Morton all over the place. Lots of weird and wonderful away games from Inverness to Queen of the South. Good laughs doing that, although the football isn't great, I'm afraid. I think they're probably the definition of mediocrity at the moment, and it kind of follows the town, to be honest. I think the town has declined in terms of population, and you're seeing that kind of falling away with the football team as well. So the peak for Morton was way back in the probably late 80s, where they were kind of regularly in the Premier League, but that's all sort of fallen. But I'll still go to some games, but not that many, because it's actually quite expensive to go and watch that kind of product. So Morton fan, flirted with Aberdeen, I would say, for a wee while as a youngster. Bit of Rangers there as well, but that's been left behind. I think Rangers are currently losing, by the way, their first game of the season. It's the 31st of July. But I take an interest, though. That's the thing. I take an interest just in kind of football in general, whether it's Scottish football, English football, or even a little bit from across Europe. I quite like to keep a wee eye on that. Look at the Panathinaikos kit on tonight, which was a wee product from a trip
What a glory hunter.
Very nice.
Absolutely. Panathinaikos are rubbish. Glory hunters for Olympiacos. There's the Rangers. There's the Rangers.
It looks like Rangers, doesn't it? But it's Oldham.
Is it?
Oldham,
yeah.
Yeah, it's an Oldham one from the 80s.
That's cool. A wee question there from MGK. I'm just going to throw it out. Probably following up on some of the stuff you said, Rob. MGK, over in Boston, or in Buffalo, sorry, he's saying we need some Rob Walker stories.
Not in football.
God.
Do the fans tailgate? That's not happening, is it? Do the fans tailgate in the parking lot? That's a huge thing. What does that actually mean, by the way?
It's basically you go in the car park outside the stadium, and people drop the tailgates of the car, and they've got like picnics, and they drink beer, and they play music, and kind of everybody mixes. But in all our experience of football is that away fans are a big thing, and the hostility. It's not the same now, of course, but if you go back to the 80s and the 70s, then the hostility between home and away fans actually meant something, because
it's crazy.
It would kick off. I don't think it kicks off in the USA or Canada.
No. Well, tailgating, I need a bit more information on what that would look like.
It's like a picnic out of the back of your car, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I were to try and do that at Capello and Greenock, people would steal the stuff that's in the car, and they'd be attacked by the rival fans for sure.
Absolutely.
Rob, what you got there? Are we going to maximise that?
The ticket from 1990.
Oh, cool.
Oldham against Leeds in the cup.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Oh, God, Rumbelows Cup.
I know.
How did they get on at in that game?
We lost 1-0.
Right.
Funny now you can remember. I know I'm not like got Alzheimer's and stuff because I can remember music, statistics, years. If anyone asks me something and I don't know it, I panic because I know stuff, and then I think so it's part of my sort of keeping on top of things is kind of remembering, because I'm a big stats guy, so scores and attendances. One story about Newcastle. I fucking hate Newcastle, mate.
You hate me anyway, Rob, so
no, I don't. I pity you. I don't hate you.
Hey, you should know who you're talking to.
David, is it official who we're talking to just now?
No, not yet. It's just elect, apparently.
Elect,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in '83, I was seeing a girl who lived in Wetherby. And,
Another girl. Wow.
Yeah, and I'd only been seeing her for about a week, and it was the start of August, and I got on the A1 to get to her house, and I was riding because they had a scooter. I think I was on a Vespa or a Lambretta.
The A1 is a motorway kind. It's a highway, isn't it, for people who aren't from the UK?
So I was going up the A1.
Yeah.
And there was two or three coaches. I could see them in the foreground as I was going up on my scooter. And it was Newcastle were playing Leeds on that day, and these coaches were stopped. They were all out of the coach, having a piss on the dual carriageway or whatever. And I'm riding up on my scooter. So I'm like, so they tried to fucking kick me off my scooter. They were running into the, because at that time the A1, I think there was two. It wasn't as big as it is now. They've kind of expanded it a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is like over 40 years ago, and they nearly kicked me off my scooter. I managed to get away from them, but I think they lost that day. No surprise, that's one of my reasons for not liking Newcastle fans.
That's brilliant.
Hold a grudge, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only ever been to St James's once, and we lost 3-2. So that was, I think, Ardiles were manager when I went.
Yeah.
Let me throw out. You probably touched on this a little bit. This might be when you were younger.
Oh yeah.
A few of you have talked about first games, but even a memorable. Obviously, had a few ones there as well. That doesn't need to be when your team triumphed. Although Newcastle, obviously, Eddie gave you some silverware recently, Dave. But memorable could be memorable for all those reasons that Rob was saying as well. What's jumping out at you for that?
Oh well, it's an absolute no-brainer for me. But I must talk about my first game. Newcastle United won the Fairs Cup in 1969, which is like a precursor to the UEFA Cup. And
let me show you that, Dave.
I didn't go, but my uncle took me to my first match the next season, and it was a European game, and I can't remember the opposition, but the first time I actually paid to go just with my mates was in 1974 when we played September, I think. We played Carlisle United at home, and I was in the Leazes End at St James's Park, and we won 1-0, which is on a beautiful sunny day. It was fantastic. So yeah, and then I started going almost every week or every other week, every home game, until the form dipped, and I started to spend my money on rock concerts instead. So that's been a bit of a story of my support for Newcastle. The occasional lapse into apathy, and then something energizes me and I start going back again. But my most memorable game, I think I'll save that. Give the others a chance to speak. Otherwise, I'll be on for half an hour.
Dave, can I just put you? I've got a wee. I found an interesting connection earlier on between. I'll show you this guy first of all. If you can see it, can you see that guy?
I can, yeah.
I wonder if you know who he is. It's pretty obscure, but you kind of mentioned something just there that's where the connection lies for me between your club, Newcastle, and mine, Morton.
Do you know what? It's not Ben Arontoft, but it's no, I can't remember.
Well,
Who was it?
Well, I don't know how I found this out, but basically you mentioned the Fairs Cup final.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of your midfielders, I think. He's from Denmark. Scored in the final. He scored in the second leg over in Hungary.
Yeah.
But he was signed from Morton earlier on that season. And funnily enough, he played for Morton when Morton got hammered by Chelsea in the Fairs Cup. So it's really kind of odd that guy was technically kind of cup tied. He played for Morton and then Newcastle in the same season in the same cup competition. He played about 140 games for Morton before Newcastle actually signed him. But a kind of cool wee connection. I didn't know.
Who was it?
Oh, Jings, I will Google his name. He's from Denmark. I think he went on to play for another English team after Newcastle, but he played for Newcastle for a while.
Yeah.
Let me find out his name. Christian, what about you?
I think I'll probably go for the first and the most memorable being the same one, really. And it's kind of one of these when I think back to it. I mean, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, from my household and stuff. So I wasn't really in a position that I could be going to games regularly or anything like that. But and living in Newton as well, getting to Old Trafford isn't the easiest to do, even when you're a bit younger. But my brother-in-law and my brother-in-law and his brother, who I told you about earlier, took me to see United against Bolton in 1995, and United actually won 3-0 that game. I think Scholesy got a couple and Giggs scored. And I just remember I actually found it really overwhelming. I mean, not just the excitement of the match itself, but just because I just never experienced, I remember noise like that before. It was a really full on experience. I mean, I wouldn't say it was scary or anything. I mean, I was, 13, so it's not like I was really young or anything, but I do remember it feeling pretty full on. And to be quite honest, the older I got and the fact that I've committed my life pretty much to just buying records and then other stuff when I got older, going out, buying clothes and other stuff, I actually then preferred to be the classic armchair fan, really. I like the comfort of watching matches from home, and the last game I went to would have been actually at the JJB Stadium, Wigan Athletic, and that was when would that have been? It was when Cristiano Ronaldo, Rooney were there, still at United, and Leighton Baines was at Wigan, and I can't even remember the result. That's how bad my memory's getting. Still got my ticket for that one, but I don't have the ticket for my first game because my brother-in-law sorted all that out. And going back to what Rob said before, I've no idea how much that would have cost either, but I know it would have been quite a few bob from our standards because we didn't have a lot of money.
Rob's turned into an ultra down there.
Don't know what Rob's into there. Looks like he's a part of what's called. Yeah, what's that body called? I forgot the name of him. With the V for Vendetta masks and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Anonymous. Yeah. That's it. He looks like he's part of Anonymous, doesn't he? So yeah. So I mean, at least it was a victory, and great memories and stuff. And it was actually for anyone interested at the time. I think it was when Cannonau was serving his ban. For the Kung Fu Kids. Yeah. So he wasn't in the team. I remember there was no Roy Keane, there was no Irwin. But I saw Phil Neville and Bort, Beckham, Giggs and stuff. So yeah, good game.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I checked, David, the guy's name is Preben Arontoft.
Oh, it's Ben Arontoft, and I was right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, so did you get it, David? Oh, fantastic.
I did, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Good man.
MGK, I'd need to look at this later on, but he's talking about, oh, wow, yeah, a Buffalo Bills table smash. That should give you an indication of what goes on here before games.
Yeah, I think they dance on the top of cars and trucks and tables. And I think MGK last year or the year before shared a clip of a table smashing down or something, and everybody ended up with beer bottles on the floor, something like that. Anyway.
Ah,
wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had this at the games you would go to, but when I used to go up to Rangers, you would get wee guys standing beside the cars when you would park it, and they would say, that kind of classic, give me 50 pence to watch your car, mister.
Yeah, they
basically
did
the
that in
idea was
Liverpool when I used to go to Liverpool. Yeah.
So if you didn't do it, they were going to sort of damage it.
Yeah.
So that maybe the car smashing in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Rob, how about you? Talked about a couple of memorable ones already, though.
Yeah, my most memorable game was the 14th of February, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, 1990, Oldham Athletic in the semi-final of the Little Woods Cup. We'd never played at Wembley. We were on the crest of a wave. We were still playing in what's now classed as the Championship. It was called Division 2.
Yeah.
We were just about to soon get promotion. But we'd never played at Wembley. We got on our way to the semi-final. We'd beaten Arsenal, who were champions. We beat them 3-1 at home. We'd beaten Southampton. We'd drawn away with the last-minute equaliser and beat them at home 2-0. So then we played West Ham in a 2-leg semi-final. This is the programme.
Oh, cool.
Oh, excellent.
That's the actual programme from the game.
Who's on the front, Rob?
Earl Barrett.
Oh, Earl Barrett, God, yeah.
Earl Barrett, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the programme.
Yeah.
And we beat them 6-0. So we beat them 6-0.
No, wow.
Yeah. But in the second leg, we lost 3-0, but it didn't matter. So, and then we played Nottingham Forest in the final. That was our first ever game at Wembley. And then a few years later, we lost in the FA Cup semi-final to Man United. Well, we drew with Man United at Wembley. United, Mark Hughes scored in the last seconds, or else we'd have been in the FA Cup final. We had 2 semi-finals against United in the 90s. In 1990, the same year that we got to the final, we lost in the semi-final replay. And on that day, I think we were a better team than United in both games, but we lost out. And then, of course, go full circle. Our third appearance at Wembley was last year when we beat Southend in a dramatic extra time win. So this is probably my favourite game, but the most important game was the game to get back in the Football League last season. But I'm just looking at the team here. So at that time, Oldham, we had Dennis Irwin, who went on to have a illustrious career at United. Ian Marshall, Andy Ritchie, big favourite. Roger Palmer, who's our record goal scorer. I'm looking at the West Ham team. It had Liam Brady in it, who was coming to the end of his career there. Alvin Martin, Julian Dix, Phil Parks. The manager of West Ham was Lou Macari.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Yeah,
cheers, Christian.
Yeah.
Cheers, Christian.
So that's my most memorable game. But there's so many.
There, Rob. That was some team that you said there. Some names remembered there: Alvin Martin and Julian Dix and stuff. Yeah,
but they were. Well, when they started the game, they had 5 at the back. So Joe Royal then decided to play 5 up front for us. So we had Ian Marshall, who was a centre half, but we'd use him as a striker, and he was really effective. And then when he ended up moving to Ipswich and Leicester, he had quite a good career. He was a striker for those clubs.
Yeah.
So we kind of caught them on the hop. They were kind of thinking they'd just keep it tight, and we just went all out. And that was the way Joe Royal, who was our manager, of course, the sort of football he liked to play. So, yeah, memorable times to be an Oldham fan. Like the perfect time, but the years when I was going to every game was when we were just kind of mid-table in what's now League, the Championship. So we're going up and down the country playing various random teams. But we'd always usually we'd finish sort of mid-table. So we'd lose more games than we'd win, especially away from home.
Nice one.
Yeah,
nice
one. That was a brilliant answer, that.
I think for me, with Morton, it's not so much about games where they've I don't think I've ever seen them win 6-0 for a start. I've seen them lose heavily too many times. But for me, it was the away games, I think. I don't know. Probably not. It's bits of away trips that all sort of meld up to be memorable. I've seen them at places like Cowdenbeath. It was particularly horrible, actually. Cowdenbeath is in Darkest Fife, if you don't know where it is.
Yeah.
I actually went there with my wife, which seems it was a bad idea. Took her up to watch Morton play Cowdenbeath. We went in a pub which was really dodgy. There's a lot of young Morton fans in the pub. They get thrown out by quite a vicious barmaid. We get kind of caught up in that stuff for a while. And then outside, I remember just looking what direction is it to the stadium, and at that point a bus came past and splashed my wife. Didn't touch me, she got soaked. And then we went in to watch the game, and Morton lost 5-1. It was so bad, it was almost comical. It was a long drive to get through to that. It was terrible. So I think that was the end of her, because before then I went around, as I said, I went all over the place with her, kind of day out sort of thing. But Cowdenbeath ended that. Still married, right enough, but haven't been to any more Morton games.
Very good. Shall I tell you about my most memorable match then?
Go for it, Dave.
Go for it, yeah.
So this guy came to our club in the early 80s as a player when we were in the second division. Then he came back as a manager in 1992. But I left Newcastle in 1989 to live for work. And I was... I struggled to get a season ticket. It took me about 2 years to get a season ticket back. And because I was traveling a lot with work and I lived just over 200 miles away, going back every match was pretty tricky. But in 1996, I went to Wembley to watch Newcastle play Man United in the Charity Shield, which is the league winners versus the FA Cup winners. And it happens just before. Hi, Brian. So before we, so I went to this match, and I got a ticket on my own, and I drove down, and I was quite optimistic that we had some great players, but Man United absolutely hammered us 4-0. And as I was leaving the stadium, crestfallen, the heavens opened, and I got soaked to the skin before I got back to the car. Anyway, because I couldn't get back to every single game, as the season went on, come October, I kind of thought, well, Man United are going to murder us again. So I'm not going to go to Newcastle to see Newcastle play Man United. I'll just watch it on the television. But I was so pessimistic that instead of going down to the pub to watch it, from the beginning, I went at half time, expecting us to be pretty much hammered already. And I got there at half time and we were 2-0 up. And then we subsequently won 5-0. And that is the most amazing football experience. Even in 2025, when we won the Carabao Cup, it was, that's the League Cup or Littlewoods Cup, as Rob referred to it earlier, quite rightly. That was an absolutely glorious day, but this is the one that sticks in my memory. We absolutely murdered Man United, and there were tears in my eyes. I mean, I cried for a week after we won the League Cup, but I was tears in my eyes after this one. It was astonishing, and every goal was amazing. Every goal was amazing. Yeah, it's just, and I used to work for Rolls-Royce. I used to run a chunk of procurement there, and we used to have these leadership development things, these workshops, and we had this external consultant come in, and there was about 10 of us in this meeting for 2 days, and we all had to kind of give up a little bit of our personal stuff, and everyone was saying, what was your most important day of your life? And you know where this is going, don't you? Everyone's saying the day I got married, the day my first child was born, I didn't have any kids at the time, so I said, it's the day we beat Man United 5-0. And the rest of the leadership looked around at me and thought, you fucking idiot.
Who's this heartless guy?
Absolutely. But yeah, that was like the greatest day of my life for ages and ages. But yeah, fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
And of course, Kevin Keegan just died. So it's all come rushing back.
God rest his soul.
Couple of weeks. Yeah.
Fitz is around now. I want to bring Fitz in.
Yeah.
So he came in there. I don't know if there's a wee problem. We'll bring him back as soon as I can.
Yeah.
Was Kevin Keegan because that was one of my questions about favourite players. Is that pretty much the man?
Oh, Kevin Keegan is the most important individual in Newcastle United's history, without question. Without question. We wouldn't have a stadium like we've got now. Bobby Robson as a manager would never have come at the end of his career to manage Newcastle. Kevin Keegan utterly transformed the club. Utterly. Even though he never won the league. He absolutely transformed the club, the city. It's amazing. And he was my favourite player. I might have said Keegan at one point, but actually my favourite player was Peter Beardsley.
Oh wow!
And in my seat at the St James's Park, there was a guy who was sitting behind me, and every time the ball would break to Peter Beardsley around the edge of the box, and he'd had a defender or two in front of him, and of course the goalkeeper as well. This guy behind me would shout, "Dance, Peter, dance." And he would just do the shuffle and he'd beat two players and score. You know, it was just, I always remember, dance, Peter, dance. It's fantastic. Yeah, Peter Beardsley was amazing.
Newcastle, when I think about it, they've had some amazing players over the past sort of 30 years, haven't they? Waddle as well, Beardsley.
Yeah. A lot
of players with a lot of flair, I would say. Flair players, Ginola, and obviously I mentioned Esprit, didn't I, earlier?
I don't, they're a big club, but any big club has these great players who come through the ranks from time to time. And the smaller clubs, Rob's already alluded to it, is that they often pick up really great players towards the end of their career or at the very beginning. Yeah. But, when you're doing well and you're one of the bigger clubs, you get players at the peak of their powers and they're just sensational. But they don't hang around for long.
No. How do you feel, David, about losing Tonali to Tottenham?
I'm not bothered about Tonali as much because I think he had a fairly mediocre season last season. I was very pleased to see Anthony Gordon go because he's a big game player and he went absent for most of the season. I'm gutted that Bruno Guimaraes is leaving.
Has that gone through now, David? Is that gone through?
No, it hasn't gone through yet, but I think they've reached agreement. He's going to go to Arsenal.
Yeah,
right,
but he's a sensational leader. But he's 28, going on 29, and he absolutely deserves to go to a club that's going to win something this coming season. And he goes with, I think, everybody's well wishes, really.
Lovely. Yeah.
Right. Well, isn't that a brilliant opportunity to bring in our man all the way from Canada? I'm delighted that Fitz is with us tonight. Fitz, how are you?
Vinyl Community royalty.
Yes, you are.
You.
No, David, you've already been anointed, and Rob, you were my first, as it were.
Oh wow! I feel like there's a story there.
We're not sharing that, neither of us.
Oh yeah,
right.
This is stuff that will hopefully come out over maybe the next hour and a half or so.
In person and beers only.
But Fitz, seriously delighted to have you along.
Thank you.
And I'm really keen to have you along. And this sounds a bit weird, but especially because you said that you don't really follow football, and that's me being a little bit odd about it, because I want to hear about other sports as well and widen it out as a kind of community social, if you like. So we've been nattering away about football there for We could go on forever, can't we? We've not really got far into it, but I'm delighted to have you and want to just listen a wee bit about some of that stuff about what makes you a fan of the teams that you support, where you are, your background in that, how you get into it. I've been doing a little bit of research, but I'll let you talk away there.
Okay, well,
it's over to you.
Thank you. So the two sports that I follow most closely are ice hockey, and we don't even say ice hockey in Canada; we just say hockey, and baseball. And I have been an NFL American football fan, but I kind of find that there's only so much time to do that. But I got to just quickly tell a story that segues in, because I know MGK Boston is watching. Hopefully he's still there. So I used to live in Toronto. So the Buffalo Bills, there is no Canadian team in the National Football League. So we used to go down to Buffalo, and Buffalo has periodically had really good teams. And when I was going down in the 80s, they had a great team, and they went to the finals 4 times in like 6 years. They lost every one of them. But as I think David knows, and I know that MGK Boston knows, the fans in Buffalo are really like crazy. And I remember going to see a game against the Buffalo Bills, which is a team in the same conference and always a lot of a real rivalry. And I remember coming to the game, and we all got hammered at the tailgate party, and the tailgate party is the big thing before the game, so that you're insured to come into the stadium very liquored up.
Nice.
And I looked around, and there were all these people wearing these turquoise Miami Dolphin jerseys, and I'm going like, how the hell did that happen? Because this is like really partisan Buffalo crowd. And then I looked more closely, and thousands of people had T-shirts. Do you mind if I swear, Gordon?
Please go ahead.
The T-shirts actually said, they had the Miami Dolphins logo, and the top part said, "Fuck the," and the bottom was Dolphins. And there were thousands of people with "Fuck the Dolphins" T-shirts on in Buffalo.
Graphic
and
stuff.
They didn't just want to beat them; they wanted to really, put a fork in them, as it were.
Would there have been many sort of Dolphins fans would go to a game like that? Is that out the question? It's too far away
From Toronto?
No, I mean, actually, does that not happen?
Yeah, it would be pretty rare. You've got Buffalo at the top northeast and Miami in the bottom southeast. Yeah. So there might be some, but they would be like, I don't know much about UK football, but they'd be keeping a low profile like you would if you were in if you were in another team's home, stadium, right? So, anyways, I knew something was off when I saw all that turquoise, and then I realized what the Bills fans had done. But my sports were, or have been, the ones I follow most closely are certainly hockey, and I'm a cliche in that way. Canadians, we love our hockey. And when I was young, that was just my whole life. I literally had a rink in Montreal that I would go to, and from 10 in the morning until dinner time, when it was already 2 hours in darkness, I'd be playing shinny, which is the outdoor hockey. And my friends were all into hockey. And I lived in Toronto for the first 9 years, and then I moved to Montreal. And the rivalry at that time between Toronto and Montreal teams was very strong. So when I stood up and said I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, everybody that was my friend in Montreal were very upset about that. Even my father gave me grief. There was a great hockey player called Daryl Sittler. And Dad used to say to me, "So how did Cyril Dittler do last night?" And of course, I was a young kid, and I would get really upset. He's not Cyril Dittler. So there's hockey, and then there's baseball. And what's sort of interesting to me is I'm not going to sort of contest the different sports, but I didn't grow up with football, and I'm going to say football as in British or European soccer or football. So I didn't really, know anything about it. I still don't know anything about it. The World Cup has been an amazing experience for not just me, but many of us here in Canada, because the Canadian team has gotten better. We're still, not there, but we're better. And having it in your backyard, you start to follow it. And I had lots of get-togethers with groups in bars, not always for just Canada. and I learned quite a bit, and I really enjoyed it. But most of my life, I've just found like nobody scores. Like, it was 0-0. So what a great game. I that was kind of my view. And hockey is, to me, probably the fastest game. And then baseball is probably the slowest game. But I think Rob was talking about stats, and so baseball is all about stats. And the more you know, the more you get into it. You know that this right-handed pitcher, owns left-handed batters, or this kind of pitcher has a certain pitch type, and that this guy can hit home runs off of. So it's the kind of thing where if you don't know it, it's so dull. But if you know it, it's really, really cool. And I've had the good fortune of being a Toronto Blue Jays fan for forever, and we've had some good teams and have had some championships. The Toronto Maple Leafs the hockey team have been the epitome of futility, and they haven't won the championship, which is called the Stanley Cup, since 1967. And the rest of Canada loves that. They love the Toronto, because Toronto is kind of considered, people think, well, Toronto is the center of the universe, or they think that Toronto thinks that they're the center of the universe, and all business decisions and sports are focused on the Toronto teams. And so the rest of the country, and now I live in Vancouver, they just love it when Toronto fails and does a face plant. And I've been a Vancouver Canucks fan because I moved here in 95. So, you were talking earlier about your childhood or geography. So geography has moved me towards a Canucks fan. If the Maple Leafs ever do well, that very, very latent Maple Leaf fan in me will come out. But otherwise, I also chuckle at their failure. I say I either want them to win the Stanley Cup or I want them to do another face plant.
Fitz, I was actually, when you said you're a Canucks fan, I wanted to check them out and see how they'd been getting on. And I found a very recent sort of podcast about it. I think it was titled something like "What's Wrong with the Canucks," or how to fix the Canucks. Yeah. So how are they getting on? It's not very well, is it?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief, but I think they've been really, like, we call it the mushy middle. They've been just kind of an average team for quite a while, but they make all these efforts to try to become meaningful, and it always fails. So if there's any continuity in my hockey allegiance, it's that I've gone from one flailing team to another flailing team. And yeah, I won't get into the details, but the part that's good about where they're at now is that management and the fan base accepts that we suck. And so we're okay with losing to get good draft picks to hopefully in 5 years be a decent team. So there is a benefit. Again, I don't know how other sports do it, but if we can end up doing very badly over the next little while, we'll see these young players kind of come into the system who are very talented, and we'll have the opportunity to maybe become a good team, but it'll probably take 5+ years before that happens. And I'm not a young man, so I don't know if I'll ever see it, but
I think it looked like they did a change of ownership, I think.
Not ownership, but management, wholesale management.
Okay. Interesting, though, they kept talking about a culture, a locker room culture that had been fractured, So it's that sort of thing about when sports teams go wrong. It sounded like it sort of happened with the Canucks.
Oh, yeah. You've done your homework. I mean, it's just been really bad. Like when a captain of the team basically wants out of your team, and it's public, that says a lot about the locker room, and there's just not a good vibe there. So
that's where we are right now as well.
Yeah. Newcastle's the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The captain has expressed the desire to leave.
And the manager obviously has just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he chucked it, didn't he?
Yeah, he stepped down, didn't he?
Before he was pushed.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So I'm curious from a football perspective, do you have that same, I don't know, draft, the way that the draft works or whatever, that no. So you don't want to like suck. There's no benefit to being bad.
No. Well, I mean,
something-
I get in the long term, the absence of hope is probably quite therapeutic as a football fan.
it's difficult if you support a team. Certainly, like I'm looking at Christian at Man United, Newcastle, and Man City. Rob, if you support someone like Greenock Morton, they suck. They just suck very effectively, and forever they suck.
Yeah.
So then, what you want to do is hopefully you follow a strong international team. For me, that's Scotland. That's a bit more sucking. So you're kind of just looking for something. So maybe
you get joy from your rivals' failures, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know, but that's not that. You feel a wee bit shameful about that. You just want good, honest. Let's have a team that wins. It's not going to be the Canucks, though, is it?
Oh no, there's great joy. There's great joy to be had in seeing Manchester United struggle for years and years now. It's been absolutely fantastic. And no disrespect, Christian, but it's been after years of domination, to see them humbled has been fantastic.
No, none taken. I mean, looking back on my age and growing up, and when United were winning everything, which they were the dominant force. I suppose it's like if you were a Liverpool fan back in the 70s or whatever, isn't it? Or the 80s when they were dominating. I think a lot of teams have their time, and I feel very fortunate that I was at an age where I was supporting that team and enjoying seeing them winning everything. And it could well be that United now don't win the league. They may never win it again. Who knows? If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. We've picked up the odd cup here and there since Fergie left. But David's absolutely right. I think the whole beauty of sport and competition and friendly rivalries and whatever is that it's nice when you see your rivals, maybe if they have been a force of nature or whatever, to maybe get humbled in some way or to have a bit of a barren period, and then it allows other clubs to rise up and have their moment in the spotlight as well. So I've never really had an issue with that. For me, as long as the team is the best team, then the way I see it, they deserve to win. That's how I see it. So fair play. I mean, and winning a league or a championship or anything like that, especially when it's over a prolonged period of time, that is not an easy thing to achieve. It really, everybody knows that. You've got to be consistently excellent for the duration of the campaign. And then if you get over the line, then fair play.
This may be a Canadian thing, but I love an underdog. And when a team overperforms and there's a chemistry about the team, whether it's great coaching, accountability, and the players seem to really play for each other, that to me, I'll get behind that kind of team anytime.
That's lovely, Fitz. And I think, I hope I'm speaking here for Rob and David as well, but I don't think anybody in this country would have begrudged that season when Leicester City won it. In the league, fantastic. Because that's very much fits in keeping with what you've just said, in that Leicester were very much the underdog. In that year that they won it, they really were, David, they were beating the Goliaths of that league. Yeah. And I don't think anybody, when it became possible that Leicester could do it, I don't think anybody wanted them to slip up. I don't think so, because it was just such a unique thing that they achieved to win the league in the way that they did, and to have that group of players that they had and the coach, and it just all came together for one perfect season for them. And I think there is definitely a British affection for the underdog, I would say as well. We do like to back an underdog, don't we? So
I think that Leicester victory, I think, has gone down. I think it's fairly commonly acknowledged as the greatest achievement in the Premier League's history.
It has
quite
to
rightly.
be.
Quite rightly.
It has to be. It really does. It has to be. It was extraordinary what they achieved.
Fitz, I just wondered if you could bring us up to date on baseball and the Blue Jays. Where are we there?
Yeah. So last year was incredible, and it was that kind of year for them. They were sort of the underdogs, not complete underdogs. And I'm going to have to research this Leicester stuff because I don't know about that. Sounds pretty cool. But they were a bunch of guys who had a lot of talent, but they seemed to all be doing better than what they were expected. And they also seemed to have a great camaraderie on the team. They just seemed to really be happy and having fun. And so they took the Los Angeles Dodgers to within 1 out in the 9th inning, right down to the wire. And people, if you're not a Dodgers fan or a Yankees fan, you're an anything but Dodgers and an anything but Yankees fan, right? Kind of, I think like Man U a bit.
Yeah.
You're a supporter
Yeah.
of your gut. So
Yeah.
last year was magical, but we ended up losing. And it was crushing because it was a really good season and it was literally a game of inches at the very end. So the hope was that we would be able to duplicate that this year, and it's not turned out that way. And of course, a variety of reasons, I won't bore you, but everything from injuries to whatever. But they're not having fun, and it doesn't seem like they're really a band of brothers. And I don't think they're going to make it into the playoffs this year. And it could be just a one-off. And the bottom line is that the reason I think we like sports is, for the most part, is you can't feel entitled to win. There needs to be a sense that you got to earn it, and again, it's even sweeter if it seems like you're working harder, you're doing better, or overperforming. So this has been a frustrating year. So I kind of, about a month ago, I kind of went, this isn't their year, and I still watch sometimes, but and I always watch the highlights, but I don't watch the games as much. And to be honest, this is going to sound melodramatic, but it just breaks my heart. When I watch them, it just feels like it's just another team. And I feel sad, or I miss what we had last year. I was biking through Czech Republic and Germany during one of the playoff series. And I was waking up at 3 a.m. and trying to find a streaming service. And each city was different in terms of what I could listen to. And my brother would wake up at 8 a.m. We were doing this bike ride together, and he'd be like, "What happened?" And it's like, "Oh my God," and it'd be just a dramatic, story. And I was like sleep deprived because I was so excited. So I don't think that's happening this year. But you know what? The other thing is baseball in person. One of the beautiful things about baseball is the baseball fields. There's some really gorgeous, beautiful old baseball stadiums. Baseball. And over the years, they've modified them to be baseball. In other words, there was a time when they were football and baseball, and now they're designed for baseball, and it's a different kind of configuration. And it's really a pleasure to go and see games at Wrigley Park or, think places like that. So.
That's cool.
So
that's really cool.
That brings in this little question. I know I've asked you. Fitz already talking about a couple of different sports. I'm curious to know if you guys do enjoy other sports as well. If you maybe go and watch anything else or keep up to date, or memories of other sports that you've watched in the past. Anyone? Cricket fans?
Okay.
Rugby?
I'll go then.
Yeah.
Well, I used to play football, Saturday league, Sunday league when I was younger, and in the summer I used to play cricket. So I was an absolutely useless batsman, but I could bowl pretty well. And even into my 40s, I was playing for my employer in a league in Warwickshire. I really enjoyed that because Rob mentioned it earlier. It's like, the camaraderie you get when with a bunch of guys, and you're trying to recover from a bad start in the match or whatever, and it's just I'm reminded of what Fitz was saying a bit earlier about a lot of people in North America are perplexed by football because they can't understand why we get excited by a 0-0 draw or a 1-0 win. But some of the best matches ever are a 1-0 win with a goal scored in injury time at the end of the game.
Yeah.
It's like a chess game.
Yeah.
And but that whole ethos of you're not trying to do it all yourself. You're part of a team. It's just. I mean, I'm too old now. I don't play any of these sports anymore. But I used to absolutely love it. It was great fun. And I still go attend the probably about 2 cricket matches every summer. Got a couple of friends who rattle my cage, and I go along.
And who do you watch, David?
Well, my one of my best mates around here, he's from Lancashire. So when Lancashire come to the Midlands, we often go and see them. So whether it's in Leicestershire, Nottingham, or in Edgbaston, so in Birmingham. So I've got no real great affiliation with any county, because that's the teams we have. We have counties here, Brian, and so I tend to follow, like most people, I follow the international test series where England are playing other nations from around the world, civilized nations, I should say, who play cricket.
Or really colonized nations.
That too.
What do you think about if you know? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say Clickygate? Been following that? What is that? Just to explain, I do watch cricket from time to time, but and I don't know if Fitz will know about this scandal all across the Atlantic. But it seems to be a big deal. What is Clickygate?
Yeah, that was where it was. Someone was snapping the fingers, weren't they? And the umpire thought the batsman had nicked the ball. Yeah. But it was only in a very low-level cricket game. It must have been a slow news story that day for him to have that as a headline.
Yeah.
Aye. There's all sorts of evidence, though, that the person has done it from a number of different matches. That it seems to have generated an awful lot of ill will. Let's say he's been suspended indefinitely as well.
Oh, right. I wasn't aware of that.
No, I wasn't aware of it either.
Yeah. His own club have taken it really seriously. That kind of concept of cheating is really, against the spirit, isn't it?
All right, I'll tell you a story here now. This is like a confession. This is such a confession.
Brilliant.
Right. When I was 10, I was playing cricket for my junior school, and I was fielding on the boundary, and someone smacked the ball, and I dived, caught it, and then I dropped it, right? But then I picked it up, and I said that I didn't drop it, but there was other kids watching, and they were saying that I dropped it, but I got away with it, right? And honestly, I still feel bad about that now. And that lad who was batting, I used to see him. He was an Oldham fan, and he used to see him. I still see him now, and I need to go up to him and say, this was like 50 years ago. I need to go up to him and say that I dropped you, and I said that I caught you. That's like living with me now. It's so funny, that, isn't it?
You need to do it, Rob. You need to absolve yourself of that. You're carrying that around.
I want to be too dramatic and say
no. I think your soul will feel better for it if you tell it.
I do.
I mean, all those people who say that Rob doesn't have a conscience, it's just
there
not
you go.
True.
See, he has got a conscience, absolutely.
Who are those people, Fitz? There's a long list, isn't there?
It's just I keep hearing it, but it's not true. We're here to say.
I think we're getting to see a different side of Rob tonight.
I agree.
More reflective. Anyone else get any confessions they want to get off their chest?
So I used to go watching cricket. I still do. And we used to go to the test match. And I can remember me and my mate, we went into Old Trafford. I can't even remember whether we paid. This is another thing, going into grounds and not paying. We didn't used to pay. I've got mates who got in Champions League finals and not paid. And when City played, when City played in the final, in Turkey, and they got in the ground for free, the Champions League final. Anyway, I think we sneaked in, and it was England against, it might have been someone like New Zealand, and we ended up in the pavilion, right? So for Fitz, like the pavilion, that's where the players get ready, and it's no access for anybody. So me and my mate, I think we were just like a bit brazen, like walking around as though we were somebody. We opened this door, and Dickie Bird were there.
The umpire.
Dickie Bird was there and somebody else. And he just looked at us and said, "What do you want?" And we kind of ran off. Well, you can imagine like the security now in sport, even in cricket, the access for supporters. You just wouldn't be able to do something like that. But I've got a couple of stories of things like that as well. But I I still go watching my local cricket club. It's like a 10-minute walk. So during the
Well,
week,
I've
I'll
got
go-
those stories for the Rolling Stones, sneaking
yeah.
into
Oh.
Rolling Stones gigs.
right? Yeah.
I don't know why,
You
always
have to
the
tell
Stones.
Gordon then. Yeah.
Hey, I need to hear that. If it's is that a successful mission to sneak in?
Yeah, it happened
Oh,
twice.
wow.
So once they were the Steel Wheels tour, and we had just the Skydome Stadium, which is where the Blue Jays used to play. Well, they still
Mhm.
play, but it's changed its name. And I went to the show, and it was great. And I went the next night, and I tried to get scalp tickets, and there were none to be found. But it had just opened. It was like months open. So we walked around the whole stadium, and we found a door ajar, and we walked in the door. And
Oh,
my
wow.
friend and I said, it was like what you said, Rob. I just said, don't smile, don't look at me, just walk like you belong. And so we just kept walking, and we came out through backstage, and we walked up, and we were about 4 rows from the front, and there were 2 seats there. And it was just unbelievable. And we went to the 2 seats, and somebody came over, and the security wasn't as big in sort of 89 or whatever.
Yeah.
And they said, "Where are your tickets?" And we said, "Our other friends are off getting hot dogs, and they'll be back with the
okay.
tickets shortly."
Yeah.
And the lights cut, and the show started, and nobody came back again. And that was
Very
one.
smooth. Very
How good
smooth.
is that?
The second
That is
one was
smooth,
the
yeah.
Stones used to do rehearsals before their tours in Toronto, because Michael Cole, the promoter from CPI International, was a Toronto-based guy. So anyways, they announced a club gig at the RPM Club in Toronto. And my stepson, right on his 18th birthday, he goes, "You told me about that story about getting in to see the Stones. Let's go down and try to get in." And I said, "Ty, like, there's no way we're going to be able to get in." He goes, "Let's try." So we go down, and we go to a side door, and we're just standing there, just trying to see if there's any opportunity. Somebody comes before us, and they knock on the door, and they give a person's name, and then they walk in. So we wait a little while, knock on the door. We gave the name. I can't remember what the name was. The door opened, and we walked in, and we got to see the Stones play like a 1,000 people kind of nightclub in Toronto.
Excellent.
That's
So it's
incredible.
wild. We had these great opportunities, and brazen, exactly.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I haven't got a story of getting in for free, but I do remember one gig at Gateshead International Stadium in the early 80s. And we couldn't afford to get in. So we just kept walking around the stadium until we came upon a security guy who let us in for 50 pence. So a loose change, 50 pence. And the bill, I think it was The Beat, U2, and it was the headliners were the Police
Oh, wow.
for
Wow.
50p.
Wow.
I
I'm
didn't
sure he
feel
made sure
guilty
that
at
money
all.
got to the band too, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
That's incredible.
Sneaking in, my sneaking into a gig one would probably be Glastonbury. I think I've probably told this one before. You'll have heard that it was myself and Jack at the Vinyl Voyage, and a couple other ne'er-do-wells from Scotland. We had travelled down in '98 to watch Scotland lose in the World Cup, all the way down to France. But the plan had always been on the way back we would go off to Glastonbury, and without any money though. So the plan would be to try to get into Glastonbury after going down to the World Cup. So we travelled over, and I remember like maybe Fitz talking about you do a perimeter scout just to see if you can find any weak spots. And funnily enough, at Glastonbury, it was night time when we arrived. There were various kind of weird things where people would kind of throw like ropes over fences. They were basically just inviting people to come in. So I remember we thought, there's a rope, let's sort of pull on it and see what happens. And the next thing you go from sort of shrubbery into the middle of this festival was like kind of typical scenes of like jugglers and whatever. You just descend over the fence into that. So we get into Glastonbury for nothing. We had no money to stay in Glastonbury that long. We lasted, I think, a night. The next day, or 2 nights maybe, I can't remember. It was sort of torrential rain. I stayed in a tent for hours and hours, waited for Ian Brown. He was a kind of headliner back then. It was great. It was great fun, and good memories for free, I suppose, as well.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian, what about you? Any other sports? Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, sorry to cut in, but there's something about, like, it's not just the getting in for free. There's something about the excitement. You don't know if it's going to happen. You get in, and it's all just that much more enjoyable because it was all not expected.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I've told this story a few times, but it just comes to mind again. It's worth repeating, I think. In 1978, we went to Nebworth Festival without sleeping bags, and we were sleeping in plastic bags and under this tent. And we were so cold and bored, we decided to go down to the arena at Nebworth the day before the concert. And as we were approaching the perimeter, suddenly the music burst into life, like mega loud. There's no security. We ran in, and we were in an audience of about 15 people watching Genesis rehearse and shoot a video. And we saw them, we were next to them when they were on TV and everything. And the next day, there's 100,000 people around us.
Wow.
It was just like unforgettable.
That's surreal, isn't it? That's unforgettable.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah.
And just there, when you were saying about rehearsal there, David, our dear friend Jesse's just said that he got through a side door at Wembley, sat in an empty area and watched the Zappa sound check. And Zappa apparently was cool about it. There you go.
Yeah. Excellent.
Nice
Quite a
one
lot.
to see.
Stories about terrible security, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
No, that's perfect security if you ask me.
Yeah.
Well, it is, yeah.
When you're
Yeah,
young
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to take a chance, haven't you? What's the old Pet Shop Boys song? There's opportunities if you know where to find them. You just got to go for it, haven't you?
Yeah.
You do.
Used to get like two
Nothing
in a
to lose.
turnstile. Two in a turnstile was a good one as well.
Yeah.
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 You could sneak underneath turnstiles and things like that, couldn't you? There's all sorts of stories about people getting smuggled in under big jackets and all sorts of stuff like that. The football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Christian, what other sports do you enjoy? Are you just about football?
I like. Well, I mean, football is my primary passion, and you'd expect with where I grew up. I'm from a big rugby league area, but I've never massively been into rugby league, to be fair. Because being from Newton, you've got a lot of towns and area, places nearby like St Helens and Wigan, and like these big rugby. Warrington, of course, which is where I'm from originally. Well, grew up in Newton but was born in Warrington. I live in the Warrington area now, so that it's a big area for big rugby clubs, but never really been that bothered, to be honest. But I've always enjoyed watching snooker, darts. I love a lot. We can maybe get into the debate: is darts a sport? We can maybe explore that one if you want to. And again, Warrington at the moment with the darts champ Luke Littler. He's from this neck of the woods. He's on course now, really, to become one of the all-time greats. Well, I mean, he already is, really, but God knows how many records he's going to go on to break. And another sport that I always enjoyed watching growing up was tennis as well. I was really into watching tennis as a kid. Never played it, but I always enjoyed watching it. I had like almost quite at one stage like a really deep knowledge of tennis and players and stuff, but kind of lost interest as I got older and started going out and doing other things. But for me, it's always been football, to be honest. That's always been in the one.
I think, like you, Christian, I was quite into tennis as well when I was young. Where I grew up, there was a couple of sort of council tennis courts just along from where I lived. So me and my pals, we would go along there and you could play tennis like basically all day for almost nothing. So we spent ages playing tennis. If we weren't playing tennis, we're playing football or whatever. And that's about 87. Or 85 maybe. It's when Boris Becker came on the scene in Wimbledon, and I remember thinking, it's the McEnroe era. He's kind of really interesting tennis player.
Cash and that,
87, Pat Cash.
Yeah.
And then when I was a bit older, I went through a period of time, I don't know if you guys have done this, where you go and watch other sports. Like I probably got fed up watching Morton for a while, and I went away and I watched an ice hockey match in Glasgow. I watched a basketball game. I watched rugby. I watched Scotland, South Africa, Scotland, Fiji, and I just started to watch sport. And it got me thinking about what's the best value for money if you're watching a a kind of sports game, and it wasn't football for me, because if you go and watch the football, it's about 20 quid. What you're watching isn't a great standard in Scotland. And I actually figured that the basketball, I was getting a lot of bang for my buck in terms of constant action. It was a good atmosphere. It wasn't too overpriced. And it was dead exciting, kind of end to end. The ice hockey was all razzmatazz. It was a great atmosphere as well. But like you said, Fitz, about low-scoring games, it wasn't a high-scoring sort of spectacle. And then the rugby, it's on a massive scale, and the atmosphere is nice, but it didn't have much sort of bite about it, which I quite like about football. It was all sort of Scotland and South Africa fans side by side. It's not like that sort of football thing. So I sort of flirted with different things just to enjoy as a spectacle. I watched one baseball game in Japan when I was in Japan working. It was the Hanshin Tigers against the Tokyo Giants, which was an amazing experience. But it was dead interesting watching how sort of respectful again the fans were. Like, they took turns to chant their songs. They would literally stand up. So the Hanshin Tigers fans would stand up and do whatever it was they were doing. Then they would sit down. Tokyo Giants guys would stand up and do their bit. It was so friendly. But that was supposed to be a fairly fierce rivalry. That was interesting to watch.
There was no "fuck the Giants" t-shirts then.
No, and obviously there wasn't a drop of litter left in the stadium at the end of it either. So
no.
Did you ever like darts, Gordon? Because I was going to just add as well, with Fitz being here, that the first, like, I remember vividly when I got into darts, and it was in 1994 when John Part won the world champion. He was a Canadian, obviously.
Yeah,
and he was my first favourite ever darts player, was John Part. Thought he was fantastic, and then became a big fan of, Raymond van Barneveld and players like that a bit later on, or around that time. So I just wondered then, Gordon, when you were talking about other sports, did you ever follow the darts ever or anything? Or
it's every sort of Christmas time, wasn't it? It's always been like that.
Like Christmas, New Year period, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's interesting when you say, and I don't know the answer to this, but is it a sport? I remember growing up again in the 80s, and the darts players like Jockey Wilson. I don't know if you remember him, Scottish guy.
Jockey Wilson,
great athlete, fantastic.
Yeah, great. He's great athlete, right? He could knock back about 6 pints. He's knocking back 6 pints and he's hitting 180s. But can you play sport and drink at the same time? Is that?
They used to drink and playing the snooker, didn't they? They used to drink and snooker.
Drink and smoke.
Yeah, drink and smoke.
Is that a sport though?
Of course it is.
I don't know.
Well,
it's like this raging thing, hasn't it? It's been for years with darts and stuff. Well, it's in some quarters, it's regarded as being. I mean, I've read so many reports and people are so dismissive of it, and it's a hobby and all this kind of nonsense. But to me, if it's got rules and regulations and you're playing in a competitive manner to win, a competition or a trophy or whatever it is, then of course it's a sport. That's how I regard it. Just because it might not be some feat of physical endurance or strength or whatever, or playing as part of a team, I think it's still a sport. I mean, for me, darts is as much a solo sport as it is watching, singles in tennis. It's a different approach to it, but I still think it's a sport. And I'd say the same about snooker as well. Of course it's a sport, but I just know a lot of people that are quite dismissive about darts in particular because of the culture that it had, for years of, say, you just get pissed and play down the pub, and it isn't really something that you do with any real sporting merit to it. But
there's a lot of skill, isn't there, in darts? I mean,
loads of skill. Amazing skill.
You try and do it.
I've tried and I'm terrible. My uncle Shuggy was a really good darts player up in Glasgow. My uncle Shuggy was semi-pro actually, but I tried a few times to play and I was absolutely terrible. So
lots of practice and
it's not a sport unless you.
It's not a sport.
It's not a sport unless you sweat.
Oh well, you do sweat playing darts.
I've seen.
No, that's nerves. No. If you're a cricket,
maybe that's beer sweat.
Pardon?
Beer sweat.
Beer sweat.
Beer sweat.
Tell you what, David, they're getting them steps in, walking up and down the hockey and stuff. They're getting steps in. So
You gotta sweat. That's my rule of thumb.
It's like, is it a game? Is it a game or is it a sport? It's
this
one
is
of
what
those.
people say, Rob. Is it a game or is it a sport? What do people watching think? What do they think?
It's a game.
Well, put it out as
Yeah.
darts or snooker as well. Are they sports? Because
Would you regard snooker as a sport, David? Would you regard snooker?
No.
No?
I
Okay.
mean, I love snooker. I enjoy watching it. I used to play quite often, but my rule of thumb is that you got to sweat, otherwise it's not a sport. And tennis is the most difficult sport of all.
It is. Yeah.
Because you've got all the power, endurance, and precision all combined.
Yeah.
And these are the best athletes ever.
Yeah, definitely don't disagree with that. Amazing to play tennis. You've got to be, like you say, peak physical condition, and there's nowhere to hide really in tennis. Yeah.
And you sweat.
Sweaty snooker, and you do sweat, definitely. Yeah.
Richard, Final Tap House, you're quite right to say yeek about sweaty snooker. Kind of horrible concept.
Bill Werbenek.
Fitz, I know you had a question. I'm going to put it out to the rest of the guys about playing sports when you were younger. What about yourself, Fitz? Did you play?
Yeah. Well, I played hockey.
Sports?
I mean, I played hockey. I played baseball. Played a little bit of football, skiing, but that's solitary, but not really a sport. Or it's a sport, but it's different. But hockey, I was very serious about. Like, I really loved it, and it was very competitive. The rest were just kind of like community leagues or whatever. But I stopped playing hockey for about 30 years because I was trying to get to a high level and I wasn't good enough. And I just decided, well, I'm going to move on to like volleyball or something that I have fun at, because I was so serious about hockey. But then I picked it up again, and it's just, we call them beer leagues. Mm-hmm. And it's just a whole bunch of guys. And the big thing about hockey is that as you get older, there are players who continue to play in a very gritty fashion. Like they hit, they elbow, they go into the corners, and you can come out just one person and the other one's all crumpled in the corner. And it's I had no interest in that over 60 years old. And so I found a bunch of guys that I played with, and I really enjoyed it until I tore my hamstrings, and I found I wasn't enjoying it much after that. But I loved it. And the big thing for me about playing later in life, getting back to it, was I seemed to get back into watching hockey again much more. There was something about playing it and watching, and the connection between the two. I became more interested in watching as well. So,
right, that's great. That fits. Sounds like I really should get into hockey on a deeper level. To be honest, I really should. I used to love the film Youngblood growing up. Do you ever remember that one with Rob Lowe and Patrick Swayze and stuff? That's a great film, that. So I did have a bit of an appreciation for hockey, but just never followed it. And I've got a really dear friend who lives in Australia now who does play. He's played ice hockey from being a kid. And I always remember that being quite a rare thing over here in the UK. But he played to a really good standard. And now his son over in Australia is playing to a really good level as well. So it is a sport really that I need to dig deeper into. I think this has inspired me listening to you, Fitz, about it. So I'm definitely going to check it out. Yeah.
It used to be more, there used to be a kind of a goon quality to it. Like there was, every team had what they would call an enforcer. And
an enforcer, yeah.
And that those days are gone. You've got to be able to perform. People play roles, but you can't just be an enforcer. So it's definitely more of a skilled game than maybe it was universally in the past.
And that was pretty much the plot of Youngblood, was that he was learning, or he had to toughen himself up to beat the enforcer in the other team, wasn't it? That was literally the plot, because I think the enforcer in the opposing team had injured Rob Lowe's brother or ended his hockey career or something. And the whole thing was Rob Lowe getting to a point where he could get his revenge on this huge beast of a man. It's a really good film, that, actually. I should probably watch that again. Yeah, don't know how it's dated now or anything, but it was good when I was a kid.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, good film that.
Okay.
I've never seen Slapshot actually, but I've heard of it.
It's
Slapshot.
very good.
Very
Paul
good, is
Newman's
it?
in that.
Oh, Paul Newman, right? Yeah, I need
It's
to watch
funny,
that as
too.
well.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent.
Let me throw out a question just for your own teams, respectively.
Oh,
Be it the Canucks, the Blue Jays. I don't know. Do you watch anything to do with the Vancouver Whitecaps at all, Fitz?
So no, I mean, I'm aware that they're a good team, and we have Thomas Mueller from Germany, who's,
Right.
a big name,
Yeah.
obviously. But
oh yeah,
Um,
big name.
I have many friends who are big fans, and I don't know why, but I've been somewhat resistant. But they're getting more and more popular, it seems, and I think they're doing quite well. But I'm not the person to talk to about the team. I really
Right.
don't know them.
And they play in that fantastic stadium, don't they?
Yes,
It was the one. I think it was 7 World Cup games were there in
BC plays.
Vancouver.
You know, it's funny, Gordon, because most of us here don't think of it as a fantastic stadium, but I think they took what they had and they created something really quite good. And the reason it's not necessarily considered by locals as a great stadium is that it's huge and it's usually 2/3 empty.
Yeah.
And that takes away from the atmosphere. It's sort of like it's
Oh
not,
yeah, bound to.
yeah.
I think, am I right in saying, I think there are 2 teams that play in the stadium. One's the MLS team, but there's another team as well. I think they cap the capacity. It's around about half
Yeah.
for, I think, the other team. But it looked amazing, all lit up, I thought, the kind of night matches.
Well, you know, the rugby sevens, they come to Vancouver. And so I'm not a rugby fan. It's not, I don't like rugby. It's another sport I don't really know much about. But I've been to a couple rugby sevens and I really enjoyed that whole experience.
Yeah, great game.
Full of action as well, isn't it?
And it's short. The short
Yeah.
matches. I love that.
Yeah. So thoughts on the season ahead, and I don't know. This is the longest I've ever been involved or seen a stream in the VC where a record has not been shown.
You might have,
Excuse me.
you might have set a record.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah, no, actually,
Pay attention.
David did show one. Yeah, he did.
Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
sure.
Yeah.
Just as well for that, actually. So please feel free if you want to show.
I can talk about the football trials that I've had, if you want to hear
Cool.
about them.
Cool. And
So-
I'm just here a wee.
Oh yeah, Newcastle.
What's
So-
that? What's that again?
So
Pretty
when I
green vinyl guy is a Whitecap season ticket holder.
Yeah. Wow.
So do you want to hear about
Yeah. Please, Rob.
wanting to be a
Please.
footballer? So in 1980, I was playing for a pretty good team and we won the cup. And I was playing as a right back. And I went to my sister. My sister was living in Lincoln. She just got married. And I went to Lincoln. And when I came back, my mum said, "You've had a phone call from Port Vale."
Oh wow.
Right. Oh no, there's other clubs as well. Right. So I had a phone call from Port Vale, and I did a video about this once, but you're all new to the VC, so you won't know about it. So right. So right, this is how fucking clueless I am. I phoned my girlfriend's dad up, and I said, "Where's Port Vale?"
Yeah.
I didn't know where it was. And my mum said, they're going to write you a letter. They're going to send you a letter. Because it's 1980. It's like, you can't believe, like now, you'd be on your phone, you'd be. So I got this letter, and it was a 3-day trial. And it was in July in 1980, right? So I went, my girlfriend's dad took me, because my dad didn't have a car. He took me down for the trial, stayed in these kind of digs.
Are you going to tell people where Port Vale is then?
Oh yeah, so it's near Stoke, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where's Stoke?
Where's Stoke?
Where's Stoke?
It seemed like the end of the world, but anyway, so I went there and I started to be. So he said, when I went to the trial, they said, "Oh, you play for this team, and you've been can't remember the word they said. You've been flagged." So, but I can't believe like these days, if you can kick a football, you're in an academy.
Yeah.
So, but in 1980, it just wasn't like that. It just wasn't like that. It wasn't organised like it is now. So I remember I went down. I hardly had any clothes. I was like embarrassed about the clothes I had. I'm more worried about that. So started the trial. After about 15 minutes of the trial, I got injured.
Oh,
Oh.
I got injured. Someone smacked into me, and I weren't the same all the trial. Then I think like the third day I didn't even do anything. So they said, obviously they'd not seen enough, but they said you can go. There's somewhere else you can go. So I went. This is funny because there's someone in the VC who supports this team. So you know, Greg. What's his channel called? He's a York City fan. So I went to York City then, but it was only for a day. So, but I'd still not properly recovered, you know, from my injury. So I weren't even the same there. It was my knee. It wasn't right. So then the guy at Port Vale said, the guy at York said, "Oh, I know someone at Blackpool. You could go to Blackpool."
determined to get you signed, weren't they?
Honestly, this was so inconvenient.
Magical mystery tour.
I know, yeah.
At the time, I was like, "Fuck's sake!" So, but then I got a job. So I started my first job, and it was when the trial at Blackpool was, and my knee still wasn't right. So I've got the letters somewhere. I don't know where they are. I think they're up in my loft. And so I ended up not going, you know, to Blackpool. So I told my mate, this is how fucking clueless it is. So my mate he was better than me, really. So my mate went to the trial at Blackpool instead of me, but said he was me. So,
Wow.
but they didn't have a photograph or anything. Like these days, they'd have photographs, wouldn't they? So my mate went to Blackpool and said he was me. And they really fucking give him a contract. So I was like, but I didn't know this at the time because obviously you're not on the phone. And when he come back, he went, "Oh, no, they don't want me." But he said they were really, really close to offering me a contract. And I'm like, so what the fuck would we have done then? I think when my mate went for the trial, I think they said, "Oh, I thought you was a fullback," because my mate was like more of a striker.
Yeah, he was a striker, right?
I think he scored, and they said, "Oh, but he'd forgotten about my knee because he was all excited." And he went, "Oh yeah, my knee's all right." And they said, "Yeah, but you're struggling with your knee, aren't you?" And he's like, "No, it's all right." So,
and he fancied playing as a striker, even though you were right back. Wow.
Very funny. But the funny thing is, like quite a few years later, there was someone who played for Oldham, and he was called Rob Walker. He was called Rob Walker. So, but I ended up then. My knee was never right, really. To try and I weren't good enough anyway, but I ended up playing for the Oldham Athletic supporters team. So when we had the plastic, we used to play on the plastic. We used to play the supporters of the other teams. So we used to kick off at about 12 o'clock and we'd finish at about 2. And Joe Royal and Andy Ritchie, you know, when they arrived at the ground, they'd watch our last sort of 10 minutes. And because I used to play on the right, I used to be on the side where Joe Royal was. And like the other teams, you know, the away fans would start coming in as well, you know, as we were sorting. Oh, here's a funny one. So Stuart Hall, he's a bit controversial now, isn't he? Is he in prison? Remember Stuart Hall who did?
It's a knockout.
It's a knockout.
Yeah. Right. So he used to be a reporter, didn't he, for Radio 5?
Yeah.
And he did something in the Daily Mail as well. So he was doing the Derby game, Oldham against Derby for 5 Live, and the game wasn't very good, but he watched our game, and he spent when he was talking on his summary of the Oldham game, he ended up talking about our game, the supporters game, because he was a bit flamboyant, weren't he?
He was.
The wall, weren't he?
Yeah, very flamboyant. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was playing for the sports team, I played at like the baseball ground and I played at the Hawthorns. So also Portsmouth as well. So I played at quite a few football league grounds. So that's quite good. But I played on Boundary Park about 80 times. So
wow,
that's pretty good. So,
you're better than me, Rob. I mean, my pinnacle was just Sunday League.
Yeah. Well, I played, like I say, my knee. But when I was like in my late 40s, I broke my ankle in 2 places playing football.
Yeah.
So I was in hospital. I was in hospital for like three weeks. It was pretty grim.
That's bad.
Yeah.
I broke my ankle playing 5-a-side when I was tackled by 2 defenders at the same time.
Oh.
I'm just saying that about we'd have won the World Cup in the 80s if Van hurt his knee. Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
But then we wouldn't have you here now in the VC, so everything works out as it should.
No, I know. Well, I used to play. So David Platt, who went on to play for England, talking about England. So he was like someone who used to play Subbuteo with. Yeah.
You used to play Subbuteo with David Platt, did you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
But I was better than David Platt when I was like 15. David Platt was 2 years younger than me. Sorry about this, Fitz, because you haven't got a clue who David Platt is.
I have to say, Rob, that I was better at Subbuteo than David Platt. Sounds like a Half Man Half Biscuit song, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, but when we were playing football, there was about 20 of us, and we used to pick teams. And I was one of the players who picked teams. So I picked David Platt to be in my team. Or whoever had first pick always picked David Platt. But he was a couple of years younger than me. So if you're 15 and he's 13... But even at that age, you could tell he had such like upper body strength. When you were trying to mark him he was so strong. But in the summer, we used to play cricket. But he'd never play cricket with us. He'd still be playing football with his brother, even in the summer.
Yeah.
But he went on to, he was on the books at Man United. And then
he
went to Crewe and then Villa. And then he went to Italy. Didn't he? He went to Italy to play for Arsenal. So
yeah. He ended up. Was it Sampdoria he played for? Sampdoria,
In our Subbuteo,
Juventus for a bit as well. God, I think he was at Juventus for a bit as well.
You're right.
In our Subbuteo league, there was Graham Lambert out of the Inspiral Carpets, David Platt for England. They both lived on the same estate. They more or less lived across the road from one another.
On top estate.
Yeah, they lived like across the road from one another.
When Graham Lambert used to score a goal in Subbuteo, did he used to say to his opponents when they were getting beat, "This is how it feels"? Or something?
Honestly, Graham Lambert is he was an absolute nutter, right? When we were playing Subbuteo in his house, his parents used to go out and leave us in the house. There would be like 15 of us in his house. We used to set the Subbuteo up. There was about 8 pitches all over the house.
Wow.
Right. Because we were doing a league, so like Champions League, right? And Graham Lambert, Fitz, he's a guitarist in the Inspiral Carpets. So when I remember playing Graham Lambert, and it was a 2-legged game, and when he was at his ground, he wanted to, he threw water on the pitch, right? And something else he used to do a program for the match, right? He'd write a program out, 4 pages of a program, and he'd do that 5 times. and he'd sell programs for like 5p. He was crazy.
Wow.
Excellent.
What a story.
That is some story.
Very
I
good.
didn't know we were going to get into that tonight. The
No.
Rob played Subbuteo with David Platt and Graham Lambert. Wow.
Honestly, when I was with my missus, I think we were shopping in town, and she said, "That guy's looking at you." This was years ago, and it was Graham. And we were talking, and my missus, she was like, not starstruck, but she knew who he was. And when he walked away, she went, "Why did you spend 10 minutes talking about Subbuteo?" that's what we talk about when we see each other.
Have you got any of the programs that he sold? Have you still got any?
God, no.
No.
I played him once in a semi-final. I can even remember fucking my Subbuteo scores. I played him at his house, and I played defensive and got a 0-0 draw, and then I beat him 5-0 at my house, and he was snapping. But he's that sad, he probably remembers that. I think that's what we were talking about when I saw him about 20 years ago.
Wow. It's incredible.
Right,
I love the commitment.
Now I've took over for a bit.
That was brilliant.
It's
Very good.
hard to sort of match that
Yeah,
sense of the epic Subbuteo games going on all over a house.
With these like big names as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. David Platt and stuff like that. Knocking about
Yeah.
that is cracking story, Rob.
Yeah.
So I wonder, do we want to talk a wee bit about our teams or our thoughts about our team's prospects for the seasons ahead? Because I'm actually really curious to know what David thinks about the Toon.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm pleased that Eddie Howe's kind of gone by mutual consent, because I think he should have gone at the end of last year because the decline is a year in the making. And I've been predicting on all these discussions that I end up putting my 2 pence in. I've been predicting that if he was in charge of Newcastle, we'd have a very poor start, and he would be fired by the end of September, because it happened to Bobby Robson, it happened to Kenny Dalglish. I've seen it before where the managers stayed on past his sell-by date, and but of course he's gone before the end of September, before the season's even started.
Mm-hmm.
So I said he'll go. He'll be replaced by a younger manager, and we will finish 8th. And I stand by my prediction.
8th.
8th, yeah.
David,
I think we'll
do you
do
not think the timing of it's a bit of a problem or sort of strange? Why didn't he go earlier on? August tomorrow. It's pretty bad timing, isn't it?
The writing was on the wall. He should have been fired at the end of the season. He should have announced he was going at the end of the season. But, it's a bad time, but there's time for the new manager to bring in a couple of experienced leaders who can take charge of the team going forward. It's a lot better than being fired at the end of August or the end of September, which has happened before too many times at our club. So, So I think it's not ideal, but it could have been a lot worse.
So there's a managerial merry-go-round on at the moment. I think it's eight managers or 8 Premiership clubs have changed manager in the last couple of months. So there's Eddie, obviously just out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Christian or Rob might want to jump in. Just prospects for your teams ahead. What are you thinking?
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, last season I think we finished 10th. We had a bit of a purple patch and then faded a little bit. I'm expecting something similar, maybe a push for the playoffs. But the main thing for us is we're financially stable. We've been through some rough periods over the last decade. So we've got an owner who's been there 4 years. He's a local businessman. So things are on the up, but we've got to take it gradually. So if we could get in the playoffs this season, I think we'd consider that to be a success.
Brilliant.
What about you, Christian, at Old Trafford?
Yeah. I'm feeling quietly optimistic actually. It's the first time I think in a long time as a United fan that I'm feeling that the season ahead could be a good one. I mean, to finish third last season was good, and you know Carrick came in and did very, very well, as we all know. You know, taking over during the season's never easy, but I think he proved the doubters wrong, and I think he brought a bit of stability back to the club and a bit of an identity as to how the team plays as well, which is important. I think I'm a little bit concerned at the moment about the lack of transfer activity, I have to say. I do think that we definitely need a few more signings, and they do seem to be a little bit slow coming through the door. However, I think the business that they've done so far has been quite shrewd. I love the Youri Tielemans signing at 35 million. I think that is a really good signing. Excellent player. Very experienced, and I was pretty excited to see him joining United. I know, David, that I don't know how concrete it is, but I know that United have been linked to Lewis Hall. I'm not sure.
There's some talk about them putting a bid in for him. Yeah,
they're talking about a bid. I mean, I love Lewis Hall. I think he's a great player. I mean, he'd be a big miss to Newcastle.
He won't go.
He would be a great gain for United. So the way I'm feeling is that I think if we can get a few more players in, we definitely need another striker. We can't rely on Benjamin Sesko to be our only striker and expect him to play 60 odd games or whatever. We need a bit of cover there with him. I think we're going to finish top four. I don't think we'll win the league, but I think if we can finish maybe third, perhaps second, I would be delighted with that. And I hope as well that we have a really good run in the Champions League, because it feels good to be back in that tournament now after quite some time. So yeah, quietly optimistic, I think. We'll see how it goes. I still expect City to be up there again, probably winning a title maybe this time. So see what happens. But they've got a new manager. You don't know how things are going to go at their end, and you have to see what happens with them as well. Yeah, but I think City will be there or thereabouts. Yeah,
I hope you're making notes, Gordon, on these predictions.
I am.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. So you said fourth.
I'm going to go. I think I'll say third. I think we'll finish third again. I think it'll be third again. Yeah, and hopefully a good run in the Champions League would be nice as well. Yeah,
I think with Man United, they've got that wee bit of stability, and by the looks of things with their team. What about Rashford? So
I think at the moment with Rashford, I think the ideal scenario would be to get rid of him, because his wages are an absolute fortune. I think from what I've been reading and from a few people that I know, kind of through sources, etc., that there might be something going on where he could be part of a swap deal with Manu Kone, who plays for France. He plays for Roma as well. He had a very good World Cup, and I think Roma are asking for 51 million for him, and United aren't prepared to pay 51 million for him. But I think if they can maybe reach a swap deal with Rashford, I think that'd be a really good bit of business, because we're bringing in a player that we need strength in the middle of the park, but we're also getting rid of a player who is on an absolutely astronomical fee, for his weekly wage. So that could happen. And as I mentioned before, we definitely need another striker, and it would be lovely to maybe get Lewis Hall in at left back as well. We have been linked to him, so we do need a few more players. We're still looking a little bit light, I think, and I worry about some of our players who've been consistently injured. Players like Mason Mount and stuff like that. I do think that again, can you really be relying on him to be part of your midfield rebuild when he can't stay fit? De Ligt's still not fit. Martinez is injured. So the squad is looking a little bit sparse, I think, isn't it, at the moment? So
I think it looks like Bruno might be leaving, but seem to say
I
that.
hope to God not. No, you're right to say that, Gordon. I know there's been rumours about that, but I would hate to lose him. I really would, because he's the talisman, and I think he's. I mean, I can't even bear to think of Bruno going, to be honest, but it could happen. I mean, anything can happen in football, can't it? And he's what is he? Early 30s now, isn't he? So it might be that United are thinking of cashing in. And well, who do you bring in though? And who do you bring in to replace him? That's the thing, isn't it? Who's going to do as well as he's done? I mean, he's been our best player, I think, since Fergie left. In terms of a player we've signed, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. So just have to see what happens with that one. But I really don't want him to go. I'd love him to stay, but yeah, see what happens.
It's to do with the stage he's at with his contract, maybe, in terms of him going.
Yeah, and maybe as well, it's conversations going on in the background. Maybe there's certain expectations that he's put on that team in terms of, can you give me assurances that a certain number of players are going to be signed? Or
you're still talking about Man United?
We are, yeah.
Bloody hell!
Yeah, for the sins, yeah. So no, it's one of them, Gordon, isn't it? I think sometimes it's not always just about your own contracts. I think it's about the direction of the club and are they going to bring in the players that he feels will get United over the line to be winning trophies. So I think if maybe Bruno's expectations aren't met, it was similar with Rooney. He was always asking about who would be coming in when he was at United, and he threatened to leave if he didn't think that the plan looked strong enough. So maybe there's a bit of that going on with Bruno as well, that he just wants to make sure that there's players who are coming in that are going to help them to do better than we've done before, which you can't really blame him for, can you? But it's easier said than done, isn't it? You can't just go out and buy anyone you want, because if you did, then we'd all do it, wouldn't we? So it's not easy, is it?
I think Man United are going to finish 6th this season.
Oh, 6, eh?
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. I think they're going to do well, but I think a couple of injuries to key players.
Yeah.
Carrick's going to be found out a little bit.
Do you think Carrick will keep his job, David?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think I agree with you, Gordon. I think he's a stable pair of hands, but it will be interesting to see whether he can keep up the ratio of wins and stuff. As David said, he might be found out a little bit when he's up against, certain matches where tactically can he mix it up and can he make big decisions and stuff? Because he's on a bit of a purple patch kind of thing at the moment, isn't he, with the results? And that is inevitably going to go at one point, I think. I mean, he only lost 2 games, didn't he?
I know. Is that a wee bit reminiscent of Solskjaer when he remember he came in and it was just an absolute win. What a machine and great goodwill we had.
Yeah, there's definitely comparisons there. I mean, Solskjaer went on to achieve that like away wins record, didn't he? That unbeaten record and stuff. I mean, Solskjaer had some brilliant moments, didn't he? As the coach, manager, whatever you want to call him. People calling him a PE teacher and all that, which I never liked. I thought that was really disrespectful. But I think ultimately he was judged as being a bit too emotional and maybe lacking tactical nous in certain matches. Whereas I think Carrick strikes me as a bit steelier than Solskjaer. I think he's got a bit more control about him. He's a bit icy, I think, Carrick. And he was a very cool player, wasn't he? He was always dead calm as a player and very unflappable and that sort of thing. And I think you need a manager like that when it's a club like United that are massive and everybody's looking at you all the time and people want you to cock up as well. So I think Carrick, I agree with David. I think he's definitely got his work cut out more this season than he had last season, I think. Yeah.
Right. Let me flip it all the way to different sports across the Atlantic. What's the thoughts on the Canucks and the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
Well, the Blue Jays, so the trade deadline is coming up. The Blue Jays, I think, are going to be sellers, meaning I think that their expectation is that they're not going to get to the playoffs. And that's my assumption. But I think that next year, if they do some good trades where they give up some players that haven't been performing or are becoming free agents and get some others, we're thinking about next year. So I think this year is likely gone. And the season goes all the way until the end of September before the playoffs. So there's still a lot of baseball, but I think they're out of it. And then the Canucks, we have really good, we've got good people now in management. The presidents are the Swedish twins, the Sedin twins, who were 2 of the best players we ever had. They're all about accountability, character guys. And then the general manager is a similar cut from the same cloth. So, but we're still going to be letting go of players that are still decent players, but not worth their salaries. So we're going to be a really poor team, but they're probably going to be more fun to watch because there'll be young players who will get a lot more ice time and they'll have a chance to show what they can do. And I think there'll be the odd player who might want to come to Vancouver because they'll have a chance to play on a line higher up in the roster and get more ice time. But I think we're literally 3 to 5 years out, And I hope we commit to staying, like, basically not trying to get back into the mushy middle and just, get good young players and then in 5 years be contenders again. So it's going to be interesting. I think my commitment to watching games, I used to watch pretty much every hockey game. I think I'll be just picking and choosing my games. When I say watching on TV, it's too expensive to go to many games, but I'll be following them.
Sell your records.
Yeah, no, yeah, not for hockey tickets. There's a lot of corporate stuff now. So I've got a few friends who are like either lawyers or whatever, and I can sometimes get into a box and see a game or two a year. And actually, hockey on TV is fantastic because it moves so fast that sometimes TV is it's not better than live, but it's pretty good. So
that's like cricket. Cricket on TV now is so much better than going to a real match. Because you just move, the ball just moves too fast, in real life. No replays and all that business.
Yeah.
Can I ask Fitz? There's Richard's comment. What Rob Northern Revolutions?
He's a big Blue Jays fan. So I don't know exactly what his take is on the Blue Jays this year. I think most of us, and certainly the media, seems to have have the same view that the Blue Jays aren't good enough this year. But it's funny, Christian, when you're talking about the different players and who to keep and how sad you'd be certain players go, we build these connections, these emotional and even a sense of what we think a player means to a team, both in skill, but also in personality and character. And so there are certain players that I'm torn, it's like, I think that maybe they should go because we'd have to pay a lot to keep them and blah, blah, blah. And are they really delivering? But it's always hard when you start to let go of a whole part of a core of a team that's been good, because there's no guarantee that who you replace them with is actually going to be a better team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. And going back to what we were saying to you before, Fitz, about the Leicester team, that won the league that you said you were going to look into. What happened with them is that they lost that spine of that team because those players were getting headhunted really by, the so-called bigger clubs. They lost their key players pretty much in relatively quick succession. So they were never really able to replicate, even have a chance of winning it again or defending the title, because the team achieved this unique, amazing feat. But then the spine of the team then was broken, and losing players like Kante and Mahrez and these really big contributors to that team.
Slabhead as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think was he there? I think he was there at the time, wasn't he? Maguire, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
And then Vardy stayed, didn't he? Vardy stayed.
Maguire weren't there then.
No, I was going to say
Slabhead came later.
Yeah, there was like Danny Drinkwater and Mahrez, Kante. I mean, Kante was the one who everybody wanted. I mean, he just pretty much cemented his place at that time as like one of the best midfielders in the world, didn't he? Really?
Like Morgan and Huth, weren't it? And
that's right. Yeah, Wes Morgan, Robert Huth, Mark Albrighton was part of that team, wasn't he?
Bardsley played. Right.
Bardsley, Danny Drinkwater and stuff. So there was quite a few of them that ended up going off to other teams. It just folded, unfortunately, for them. It just folded.
Yeah, one of the philosophical things that I think is probably happens in all sports nowadays is this whole notion that it's all just business, right? So players don't really, like in my chosen sports, the best you can get is they might take a short-term contract with what they call a hometown discount for a year or two. But the feeling is like, you better put together a Stanley Cup winning team or World Series winning team, or I'm out of here. Or even if you do, I may be out the year after. And I kind of miss that because there's really no loyalty, and that's just the way it is. And it goes both ways. It's management isn't loyal to the players, but the players aren't loyal to the team either. So
very interesting. That very true as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, well, guys, we've crossed the threshold of 2 hours here. I just want to check if you're all still okay. what your fitness levels are.
Hydration break.
Hydration break. Yeah.
Do you have records to show? Is there any
I've
other
got a
business we
record.
need to talk to here? Any VC business that we need to discuss?
Always.
Well,
I've got
I've got a record that because one of your questions,
Yeah.
Gordon, was is there a record that kind of represents the club?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
one. I've got one.
When
I
you-
might as well shorten now, and
when you go.
it's Darkness on the Edge of Toon.
Oh, David, fabulous.
Yeah.
That's a great
Say no
choice.
more. Say no more.
Say no more,
Yeah.
eh?
Darkness on the Edge of Toon. So there you go.
I've got
Bruce-
one.
sorry.
Bruce Springsteen, Crystal Ball, wasn't it back then? He predicted this.
He did, yeah.
So
Fitz, I've got one as well. On you go, Fitz. What have you got?
All right. So mine is not specific to a title,
Oh,
but
wow.
are you guys Bob Dylan fans?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Up to the point.
So the Canucks, the best metaphor I can kind of do is it's Bob Dylan's Empire Burlesque. You know, there are a couple of good songs on here. Tight Connection to the Heart.
Yeah.
When the Night comes falling from the sky. Some people like Dark Eyes, but there's a whole lot of stuff that aren't great songs in the Dylan oeuvre. And on top of that, the production, Arthur Baker. I don't think that the structure is a great sounding record. It's very dated. So I think that's a pretty good metaphor for the Canucks. You know, we've had a few good seasons in 50 plus years, and the rest of it is kind of filler.
Yeah.
Great
I
photograph.
actually
That.
don't know that album.
No, it's a great
I
one.
don't know
Oh, David's got it there as well.
Oh,
There we go.
Excellent picture.
It's okay, but it's not one of Dylan's greats. I don't
Not
think.
one of his.
no,
Yeah.
it's not talked about much, is it?
No.
No, I don't think
No.
I've seen that one.
No.
You know,
got-
Christian Arthur Baker, the dance
yeah.
producer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He basically kind of danced it up. So it's Dylan's most danceable record.
Oh wow, I like the idea of
That's
Arthur
not a
Baker being
recommendation
involved.
either, is it?
Not really. I mean, it's a pretty oil and water type of thing, right?
No, I'd love
Yeah.
to hear that because I mean Arthur Baker, he's been involved in some amazing stuff. So yeah, I'd definitely have to check that out.
I think he was
I just love the
responsible
front
for
cover too. It's
butchering
really cool photo that.
several tracks from Born in the USA as well.
Fantastic.
Right, let me throw this up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Are you doing something? Yeah.
This is you'll not see this that often, and in connection with Greenock Morton as well. It's quite sad to bring this out, but this is I don't know if you're familiar with Los Zeros. They're a Peruvian kind of cool sort of psych. It's Peruvian cumbian music from the 70s and 80s. This is a record that Jack sent me down a while ago, but unfortunately Los Zeros, I'm afraid there's been 4 games played already this season by Morton, and they have scored 0 goals. Los Zeros does mean the Zeros.
Oh right, okay. Right.
It's actually a very cool album though. It's kind of surf. If you imagine like traditional Colombian cumbian music,
Wow.
that you throw in kind of weird surf guitar, sort of kind of psyche stuff. So it's from Peru. Quite a cool listen, but unfortunately it's more to do with the fact that we've got a 0 against our name for every single game we've played.
That's awesome. Is it instrumental that, Gordon? Or
No, it's not.
no?
There's some instrumental tracks, but some singing. So it's a compilation of their stuff from, as I said, the 70s. It's really quite cool.
Sounds great. That yeah.
Yeah.
Jack
Very good.
knows his psychedelia.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Oh,
does.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
He
yeah.
does. Jack's an expert on the old
yeah.
psych. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's Morton.
Very good.
When I was in North America, Jack sent me a message, and he was after a psych album from this band that I couldn't find out there. And I went to a record shop just a couple of days ago, and he tells me that the record shop owner didn't even know what the record was. So that's how much of an expert Jack is. So
Rob, is
what's that? Peru.
That's the Peru kit, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Peru.
Oh, nice
Awesome.
one, Rob. That's
Awesome.
great.
I used to have one of those in a Sabutio kit.
Yeah, I did as well.
Yeah,
Is that was it 74?
78.
Which World Cup were they at?
78.
78.
When they
Oh,
beat
yeah.
Scotland.
That's no, right, okay, just moving on there.
I wanted to show a couple of records. So I've got this one here. Don't let it get you down. That's being an Oldham fan or any sports fan, isn't it? Don't ever let
Oh,
it get you down.
Honeymoon.
What a great song. Love that song.
Yeah.
So yesterday I went in my favourite record shop in the world, which is an absolute crate digger's dump. He don't know what he's got. Well, he knows what he's got, but then he's got all the stuff and he don't know what he's got. It's incredible. It's better than Den Bosch. It's unbelievable. Right, so
Should we all go there next spring then?
honestly, it's
Just
called
what?
Tommy. It's called Tommy. He's a City fan. And he's got boxes and boxes of like 12 inches and a lot of dance stuff, though, that I'm into. Not probably what you'd be into. You won't be into this, what I've got here. You'll be like, what the fuck's this? So I've got this. So I've got this coat, right? So this is Cola Boy.
What the fuck's this?
Exactly. and it's called Seven Ways to Love. This was the top 10. This is quality. Anyway, so I got this. It was only a couple of quid. Right, so the 7 ways to love. So I wrote down my seven ways to love at football. So,
Oh, nice.
so it's it. The first is the anticipation, of the game.
Yeah.
This is a routine then. Then
Mhm.
the pub before the game. Go in the
Yep.
club shop, buy a pie, buy
Yeah.
a bovril, which is a drink at half time.
Yeah.
Enjoy the win, and then go back to the pub. So them are my 7 ways to love.
Very good.
Well thought out.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
think you're-
as an Oldham fan, Rob, you must be
That's cool.
celibate then.
As a what?
As an Oldham fan, you must be celibate.
Yeah.
I love that idea, that anticipation, though. I can relate to that pint in the pub before the game.
Oh, yeah.
There's an optimism about that always...
Brilliant.
It's usually absolute madness, isn't it? But it's there.
Brilliant.
It's there at 2:30 or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool
Got-
voice.
Same pub we go in every, so it's everyone kind of knows everybody else and
Yeah.
before the game, and then after the game, if we win, there'll be people that if we lose, there won't be as many people that go in the pub after the game.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
right. Very good.
So did anyone else get... Christian, what about you? Did you pull one for United?
Yeah, I pulled a few in the end, but I think I'll just show the one. So yeah, the theme that used to be played at Old Trafford for years was the Rocky theme, and when Gary Neville became captain, he was able to swing it, or whatever the story is, that he wanted a different theme for the players to walk out to. He wanted a band or some music that was more representative of Manchester. I don't think he had an issue with the Rocky theme, but I think he just wanted it to be something different.
Was it Happy Mondays?
No, not far off. It's not
Really?
far off. No, so United have been, God, it must be over 20 years now, have been walking out to the song "This Is the One" by the Stone Roses, which is on their debut album.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's such a brilliant song in terms of as Rob said, the anticipation of when you hear Squire's jangly guitar intro and the anticipation of it, and the whole the ding 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 ding, like just the whole thing about it really gets you pumped up. So I decided to choose the Stone Roses, not only because of the Gary Neville influence, but also that you had three members of the band were United fans. I believe they're all season ticket holders as well. So you had John Squire, Ian Brown, and the late great Manny, and then Rennie, who was on drums, is a City fan, I believe, isn't he, Rennie? Yeah. So yeah, just a great album. For me, one of my all-time favourites. I do think it's one of the greatest ever debuts, and love every track on it, and an album that I've talked about and showed many times on the channel. So I do think that for me, when I listen to the Stone Roses, it does make me think of Manchester United. So I thought that would be a good pick.
Great
I
pick.
Want to Be Adored would also work quite well.
Yeah, it
don't
would.
have to sell my soul. He's already in me.
I Want to Be Adored would actually work really well for match day, I think. Yeah. There's a lot on there actually that would work really well.
There is.
So yeah, I think it's a great Manchester album. So I did pick some Smith stuff out as well because with Morrissey growing up in Stretford, I thought there's a link there, and I think Andy Rourke and Morrissey. I don't know if Morrissey was a big United fan. I read in his autobiography, I think he fainted as a kid watching United when he saw George Best or something when he was a kid. And his dad had to take him home, I think. But I think Johnny Marr and Mike Joyce are City fans, aren't they? But I think Andy Rourke was a United fan. So I did pick out a few Smiths albums. And interestingly, Fitz, a couple of them are Canadian pressings, the ones I've got. So I'll just show them very quickly if I can. So we've got the Canadian leaf there in the corner, just there. And what's interesting,
that pressing.
Yeah, so what's interesting about this pressing is that you get this charming man on it, which wasn't on the original, the original UK Rough Trade pressing. So I've got that one, which is Canadian, and I've also got, I think My Meat Is Murder is one as well, is Canadian. And again, interestingly with this one, it's not listed on the tracks or even on the lyric sheet, but this has got How Soon Is Now on it, which
wow,
which wasn't on the original Rough Trade pressing. And just one more, because I'm pretty sure from memory this is Canadian as well. Let me just double check, see if it's got the maple leaf. Let me see if it has somewhere on it. Pretty sure that is a Canadian pressing. I'll show it anyway. We've got The Queen Is Dead there as well. So that's a Canadian one. I'll get the disc out. You can have a look at that just in case maybe the people haven't seen that label. So very quickly, there we go. That's what mine looks like. So yeah. So I thought the Smiths would be a good shout as well, just because there is some link there with obviously with Man United in a way with Morrissey growing up in that area and stuff, but I thought the Stone Roses would be a more direct reference to them, really. So, yeah, that's a few I pulled out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a shirt to show.
A shirt?
Inspired
Merch. Go for it.
Just put that back.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Let's see that. Oh, Max.
Oh,
wow,
signed as well. Oh, wow.
Shearer.
That's nice.
Is that your
That's
retirement
nice.
fund?
When I left Rolls Royce, one of my suppliers gifted that to me. They bought it in an auction.
That's
Oh,
good.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's been in the wardrobe ever since. I don't know what to do with it.
That's some piece, that, David. That.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I
If
went up.
anybody out there offers,
Yeah, there you go.
Rob, I think
I've
it's too big for me, Rob. I think it would fit you.
I've got a match worn England shirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I
Which?
could go and find it.
Yeah, if you want. Well, I think the most hostile sports game I attended was Scotland v England.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Shearer was wearing that kind of kit at the game. I don't know if you guys will remember. There was a playoff, 95 or something like that. England played Scotland at Hampden, and then they played down at Wembley. So I went to the game at Hampden with my pal, and I hadn't seen until that point that kind of thing where the police have to sort of kettle.
Yeah.
They basically escorted all the England fans from Central Station in Glasgow all the way down to Hampden. It was this big mob, pretty hardcore looking mob of guys, and the atmosphere in the stadium was very, very, very hostile. It was the England of Scholes and Beckham. Now, I'm pretty sure Shearer was up front as well. But
We lost 95, did you say? I think he would have
something
been
like that.
Yeah.
We lost 2-0. I remember. I'm pretty sure Shearer scored. And then we went, and if you remember the returning at Wembley, it was the last game at the old Wembley. It was a draw. I think it was Don Hutchison or someone scored for Scotland.
Oh,
but
Don Hutchison,
what an
yeah.
atmosphere! But seeing that kit, it kind of brought back the memories there. bad ones.
Yeah.
Does anyone else? I think Rob's away hunting down his.
Should we close it down before Rob comes back?
we'll let Rob show his kit, and then we'll head off into the good night, will we?
Well, we're waiting for Rob. So this is a guy. He's a Brazilian American guitarist, although you can't really tell from this album. But his name is Fabiano do Nascimento. Anyways, I'm going to see him play tonight. So he's got a really nice piece on the NPR, this tiny desk type thing, but it was during the pandemic. And just beautiful Brazilian guitar stuff. So I've got a few friends and we're going to go to La Bodega for dinner and then check out the show.
I've got one of his albums.
Yes.
I've got one of his albums in the upstairs as well. Really, really nice acoustic guitar, isn't it? Jazzy. Is that right? Fitz is frozen, I think.
Yeah, he frozen Fitz.
Am I back?
Fitz.
There we go.
No, he's back.
Oh,
He's
you're
back.
back. I was saying I've got one of his albums upstairs. He's a really great sort of jazz guitarist.
Yeah. He lives like half
be...
the year in Japan and he collaborates with Japanese musicians. But
yes.
Yeah, really nice Brazilian guitarist.
Cool. Rob, we're wondering what you brought out of the cupboard.
Right, so this is a match-worn England shirt for England against Croatia on the 21st of the 11th, 2007. So it's the game that we lost. So we were in the Euros in 2008. So that it's got it on there where it's the game.
Yeah.
If it's official, it has it on there, so it's a bit faded.
Oh,
but
wow.
this shirt belonged to Sean Wright Phillips.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah. Nice.
So, and I got this because one of my best mates, he was at United for years as a podiatrist. So I've told the stories. He took me with him loads of times to like games. Took me to England hotel and met players and stuff. So he brought me this. He used to, when I used to go around seeing him, he'd answer the door and he'd have like United training gear on, like with initials. And then he'd say, "Can you put them on and walk around the house?" And then he went, "Go and have a kickabout with them on." So I said, so I had these boots on in the garden and he says, "Oh," I said, "Who's are they?" He said, "Oh, Rio Ferdinand, he wants them wearing in." So he gave me this. He gave me this as well. So this is kind of an official.
Oh yeah.
Training.
That's the training gear.
The training bib, training gear, innit?
Nice.
So, but he was always trying to give me like United stuff, but because I'm not a United fan. But he had because he had a massive house and he had like a games room and he just had loads of shirts,
Wow.
from because he went to Japan, was it 2002? So yeah, but I've not seen him for a couple of years. But yeah, he was
Sounds like a cool guy. He sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he had loads of connections. He was funny. So.
Yeah, brilliant.
Very, very interesting selection of stuff on display there.
Yeah.
Listen, I think what I'm going to ask you about is maybe just VC stuff, just about your channels and so on. What are your sort of plans for? I don't know if this is like in my head, it's like a new season. I think that maybe the VC gets a bit busier, doesn't it, after summertime, after people are back on holidays. So what are your next steps, if you like, for your VC, for your channel? Anyone, Christian, I know you've got a big, looks like an epic undertaking.
Oh God, yeah, it's epic. So yeah, I mean, first of all, I need to do a VCLT video. I've been meaning to do it for ages, but I need to get it done. And what I'm going to do as a thank you to the person who sent me the record through is I've decided to actually review the whole album track by track, just because it's been a while, me getting it done for him, just to thank him. So I'm going to do that. I'm hoping to actually get that done over the weekend because I listened to the album and gathered my thoughts on it. But the main thing that I'm going to be doing, as you say, Gordon, is I'm going to be doing a 10-part series on my top 100 album closers. So albums that I have to own in the collection, obviously, for them to be eligible for inclusion. Only one song per band or artist as well. I did do the track one, side one, top 100 last year, and that went down pretty well to the people that took the time to watch them, which I was dead grateful for, because it was like a lot, as you can imagine. So I'm going to be doing it again. I've not quite got my top 100 sorted yet, the ranking, but I think it's just one of them that wants to get into it and to get going with it. I'm just going to go for it. I've got an idea what my top 10 is, but I've got the other 90 that I need to sort out. So that is going to keep me busy for a good 10 weeks or whatever it'll be. Yep. So yeah, that'll keep me out of trouble for a bit.
That's a cool one to get your teeth into, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, it does feel a bit daunting, but I've got such a lovely community, and in terms of the people who followed the first one, who did the top 100 side ones with me, they were so engaged in it, and they're just such an amazing bunch. And they've been asking for it for a while. That why don't you do the closers, because you've done the openers, do the closers, which is a very fair point. So I am looking forward to doing it, but for me, it'll just be trying to get around to recording parts as and when I can, just due to work-life stuff, really, as it is with everybody, isn't it? It's just finding the time to do the recordings and just I want to do as good a job of it as I can. So hopefully I'll be able to give people something enjoyable to watch.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Fitz, how about you? What's happening with the channel?
Well, I mean, I write down all these different ideas, but it's always a question of whether I'm in the mood to do it. And so, I tend to just sort of choose things when the whim grabs me. But, David did a whole thing about purging, and because I was going to rent my place out, Airbnb, and then didn't, but I boxed everything up, and now I'm putting it all back. And I figure, well, that's a good opportunity to go through and ask myself the questions, do I really need this? And I'm thinking it'd be nice to actually create a slush fund of money that I can use to buy, future records, rather than just keep bringing stuff in and not have anything go out the door. And my wife rightly says, like, where are you going to get the space for this stuff? Yeah. She's very understanding. But so I've actually got one of the cool things is I've got a box of about 120, 150 7-inch singles that are mostly British, mostly from 76, 77 to about 82. So like I've got maybe 30 Elvis Costello. I'll probably hang on to those because I'm a big Elvis fan. But it's been really weird going to Discogs and looking at some of these singles, and some of them that have like real value that I actually have absolutely no interest in owning. I don't play singles much anymore. And like there was one the other day by a band called The Existers, and it's going for 120 as a low end for a 7-inch single that, so anyways, I just started thinking I'm going to do some purge videos, because the other thing that I've found that I find quite interesting, even though it seems like it's kind of negative, I realize as I let stuff go that I start to appreciate my record collection more. Yeah. I kind of got to a point where I've got more than I have time to listen, and stuff is coming in faster than I can do deep listening to. So, I'm kind of getting caught up, and it's actually kind of a nice feeling of starting to get rid of stuff.
Yeah. I wish I was brave enough to do that. I kind of feel like I really want to do that at some point and take a really good look through the collection and just think, do I really need to keep that? And is it something, as you say, Fitz, is it something that I'm even maybe interested in, or when was the last time that I played it? But I've kind of got this morbid fear of doing it in case I end up getting rid of something that I end up regretting. You know what I mean? Like maybe, David or Rob or somebody or yourself, Gordon, maybe talks about it a year or two later, and I'm thinking, oh, I used to have that and then I got rid of it. There's that kind of part of me that really would love to do what you guys have done in terms of reconnecting with your collection, but something's holding me back.
I totally understand that, and that's been part of my reticence. But I haven't really experienced any regret of letting stuff go, even stuff that I quite like, but I just ask myself, am I really going to play this? You start to ask yourself tough questions, and this is going to sound morbid, but I mean, I'm literally redoing my will, and I'm thinking of all the stuff that I have, the most valuable thing I have other than like the house are my records.
Right.
But it becomes a burden for other people. And so it's kind of like, why not just reinvest this into stuff that I can enjoy now and stop thinking about this as something that has some value later, because it's really going to be an albatross for them, I think.
Right. That's a really interesting perspective that I've never really thought of it like that. And that's definitely something to give me pause for thought, because I can definitely see the merit in why people do it. Whether it's, as you say, is it a space issue to make room for more stuff, or is it to re-engage with maybe albums or singles you've not listened to for a while, or maybe sometimes it's just to make a few quid. If people need a bit of money, you can sell things off. So that's actually really, really made me think, because I am so reluctant to do it, but then part of me thinks maybe it would be a good idea to do it. So I appreciate that perspective, because it'll give me something to think about, maybe in the near distant future, perhaps.
Yeah. You think about it. I think it's like, I'm not a cigarette smoker, but I've got a family member who's been trying to quit smoking, and I just sort of say to him, look, when you're ready, you'll do it. Like, there's no way I'm going to be putting pressure on you to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with purging records. There comes a time when most of us, I think maybe we want to slim it down, but that time may not be now. Right. So.
Yeah.
Well, I've even thought that at some point that I will transition from vinyl back to CD.
Whoa.
So these racks around me will have CDs in them rather than vinyl, because the stuff that I've been purging, I've got 95% of it already on CD as well. Wow. So, but there comes a point in time where you've got to kind of start letting the stuff go, I find anyway. And of course, the first 100 that goes out makes it easier for the second 100 to go out and the third 100 to go out. And then if you really pin me to the wall and say, well, how many records do you really, really want to own? Then it would be probably about 20% of what I've actually got. So I'm kind of coming to quite a peaceful place in terms of letting stuff go. It's all been on suspended since I had my injury, but I'm expecting to get back into purging again in the autumn.
That's really interesting, that, David. Yeah.
It's so interesting that you're thinking CDs. I'm going in a different direction, which is I'm really contemplating getting rid of all my CDs except box sets and some kind of unique ones that are just not available, because I keep thinking streaming and CDs are almost interchangeable. So why not get rid of all my CDs and stream? But I love vinyl. I love the physical.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah, I don't think I go to streaming. I used to do streaming a lot, but I haven't streamed anything for years, 10 years maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. I prefer to, when it comes to like vinyl or even CDs, but particularly vinyl, I prefer to have a blind buy than stream it first. Because I know that when I stream it, I won't bring any sufficient attention to it to appreciate it.
Yeah.
I hear you.
What's your take on it, Rob, about purging and stuff? How do you feel about it?
I'm a nutter. I'm nutter, me.
You're nutter.
I'm a nutter.
Yeah, we know that, but what about purging?
No, how do you feel about it? Are you a bit like me that you find it hard to do, or
Yeah, I'm not even interested in that. Right, I've got a trilogy of records that I bought from the charity.
Isn't the denial? Wouldn't even.
That was a deep.
You want to talk about death, Rob? You want to talk about death?
He just cut me off there, didn't he?
No,
it's like the one thing about the VC is there's so much sort of talk of death and what am I going to do in my collection when I pass away. It really kind of depresses me, because when you get to a certain age anyway, it's there for everybody, isn't it? But it's not something that I want to be thinking about. And you can't go a week in the VC without. I mean, bloody fits. I've I've not spoke to him before, and first thing he's bloody talking about is the end of his life.
Ultimate demise, yeah.
Hey, Gordon, I think your live stream's been hijacked.
Hijacked. That's okay. It's
But I'm like, I just like having fun. I love going by records. So I bought a trilogy of records here today.
Here we are. Let's have it.
Right. Honestly, right. So the first one is this.
Oh.
Hang on, I need to put my glasses on for this one.
That's a good advert for Benidorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just about the music then, as Mazzy would say. It's not just
Is
the
there a
music.
record in there?
You know what? I bought this, and I didn't even check the condition of the record. Right. So I bought. It was 30p. This right. So I bought all these. These three were £1. So
Rob, can we see the inner?
Is it a gatefold, maybe?
There isn't a fucking inner with it. There isn't an inner with it, right?
There's always an inner.
Right, so that's 1974, right? And then we've got 1977.
Oh, wow.
Not so
Look
good.
how Benidorm.
That didn't sell as many, did it?
Probably not,
No.
no. And then we've got fucking 79.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I
Wow.
know. Well, that's how nuts I am. I just see them and I just think, I'll get them. But then I bought this. This came in the post. So I do spend money on records, proper money. So I bought this. I don't know if you know this band. So do you know the Necessaries?
No, I don't.
No.
Do you not know them?
Looks a bit unnecessary if you ask me.
Well, you don't know. If you don't like them, I like them. So
What era are they from, Rob?
At the beginning of the 80s.
Right.
So that's the album Event Horizon. They're very much, you can hear like the Feelies and
Yeah.
Pylon as well. That sort of early 80s American.
Jerky.
Yeah.
Like sort of like Talking Headsy a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, so good this. So
Sounds great.
It's brilliant. There's 27 tracks on here that have never been released before. 78 to 82. Two of the members were in the Modern Lovers, with Jonathan Richman.
Yeah, Jonathan Richman, yeah.
So, but they never really had any sort of commercial success at all. But at my local shop online, they just had this. So it made me sort of delve into it. I looked at the cover. I thought, who are they? So then I streamed that album, that Event Horizon. That album there. If you stream that, I can guarantee you'll like it.
Yeah.
So I've not actually listened to all of this. It came on Wednesday, but I think it was 55, 56 pounds from Amazon.
Right.
So
Okay.
I do buy proper music, but I like buying fun things as well, and that's what record collecting is. Fun. It's fucking fun. So all these, honestly, the vinyl community this week has been. I like Rubber Soul. I bought it from Bristol for £8 when I went to Bristol. Must have been like 4 or 5 years ago. And I've played it a few times and I like it. And they're really, everybody's going on about that beat, and it's an album I know it's 60 years old and it's to me, record
It's my second favourite Beatles album, that.
For me, record collecting is fun. And another thing that does me head in, so when people get to a certain age, they stop, they change. The music they like when they were younger, it's as though I can't like that anymore. I've got to not everybody, but a lot of people, they like looking for a new direction, and they start, like Atkinson, he starts listening to, Blue Note records and all that. And you're not listening to the Police and things like that, Dave, that you absolutely love.
I grew up, Rob, so I kind of move on. Really, I go back.
This
But,
is it.
I-
He's grown up and he's.
I like what Sting said in an interview with Rick Beato, where he said, if a piece of music doesn't surprise me within the first minute, then I'm not interested.
No,
So I like surprises, just like Sting.
no.
The familiar becomes dull to me.
No. Yeah, but what's surprising about Jazz then? Tell me what's surprising about it. He's so predictable.
Oh wow.
It's predictably unpredictable, isn't it?
Wow.
Should I tell? Hey, Gordon, should I tell you what I'm doing with my channel before my 5%
Yeah.
of battery runs out?
Please, Dave. Please.
So I came back from Toronto and Buffalo with about 540 different video clips that I'm putting into videos. So I've done 2 so far, and I'm probably going to do another 3 or 4, including Fines videos. So that's my near-term project. But
Brilliant.
I've got a couple of other long-running series that I'm going to start adding to come end of August. So it's the big North American trip MGKs do that I'm going to concentrate on in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That sounds
awesome,
cool.
Matt. Yeah.
How about you, Gordon?
I'm going to try to do a bit more of this. I think. See if I can keep the streaming going. I'll see how it goes.
Good.
Need to get a wee bit of feedback. Don't know if you guys have enjoyed popping on. I really
Loved it.
appreciate you. I really appreciate you doing it. I just like that idea of a kind of. It's unusual not to show so many records, I have to say.
Yes.
we talked for a long time about other stuff, which was quite interesting.
We did.
So, but I want to do this a bit more and try and find the balance between the sort of chat and the records. So I'll do that.
Good.
I'm going to go again in a couple of weeks' time, so we'll take it.
One
take
for
it from
Rob.
there.
Oh, Rob will love that one.
Unpredictable.
What about? Don't you want to ask about my channel?
We've not got there. Dave's
That's
showing
brilliant,
off one
that,
of his new
David.
records.
Yeah.
Well, what's Dave showing? What's he got?
You've not seen that one?
They're Canadian, aren't they?
Oh,
Yes.
them. Honestly, that's what all the pricks in the BC have bought that.
No. All the presidents elect. That's what you mean.
No, I was right the first time.
Watch the KEXP get a performance of that, Rob. It's brilliant. It's good. That's where I first heard of him, on that KEXP thing. You know, the clip. It's just the 2 of them playing together. Really, really good.
KEXP clips are great for almost all bands.
Yeah, I got into the Black Angels the same way, just because they played so well on that. And yeah, I agree. It's a great showcase, isn't it, for bands and artists to do their thing. Yeah.
Anybody, I've got some advice for you now. Anybody, any channel that's bought that
Unsolicited
record,
advice.
anyone who's bought that, unsubscribe from their channels.
Well, that's interesting, because someone contacted me the other week and said anybody who's bought that Necessaries collection to
Nobody
unsubscribe.
fucking bought that.
Well, it's super popular, that.
No, it's not.
There's probably other VC people looking to get that Benidorm set.
I'm
from the
going
70s.
to get it just based on Rob's description alone. I'm definitely.
Can I just say,
Okay.
as like a one-liner review, this is not as good as the live clips you see on YouTube.
Right. Okay.
Because this is kind of on YouTube, you see them build up the loops and the song and the rhythms. This might be just a whole bunch of overdubs.
Yeah,
Right.
It's not as interesting.
yeah. Even with
That's
that negative review, I'm still unsubscribing.
Is that the kind of controversy?
Well, that's good news,
to
because
end?
it sounds like we've got a spare place in the car for Den Bosch next spring.
Right, just before we end, I wonder if you fancy this, but I thought sometimes an epic football game will end with a penalty shootout. So my little idea just to end it here, guys, is I've got 5 questions to ask you, like a penalty shootout. Now, each question, it might be to do with sport or it could be to do with music, and it's basically just a nearest to the number wins effectively. So each question, there can only be one winner.
You better be quick because I'm down to 3%.
I'll go fast. We'll go fast.
Yeah.
Fast, the first question, Christian. It's just a number I'm looking for. I'll start with you. Have a wee think about it, guys. Hit me with a number. I'll say who's won it. Let's see who the penalty king can be here, okay? So, because you're a Man United fan, Christian, so Alex Ferguson, legendary manager, with a long, long career, many clubs he managed. My question is, guys, it's a number I'm looking for. How many football games did Alex Ferguson manage?
11, 12, 1300.
1300 from Rob.
I'm going to go for 1470.
1470, Dave?
Yeah.
1299.
Ooh.
1299, right, Fitz?
1298.
1298. Brilliant.
The answer is 2,155.
Wow.
I didn't think it was that many.
Who said the 1400? Is
Yeah.
that Rob?
That was I got closest. That I said 1470.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1-0. 1-0, Christian. Right, next one. For Vancouver, Fitz. BC Place. That's the name of the stadium in Vancouver. It held the 7 games in the World Cup. What is the capacity of that amazing stadium, BC Place in Vancouver? What's the capacity?
I'll say 52,000.
I'll say 64,000.
Okay.
David?
55.
55,000.
I'm going to go 58.
58.
Yeah.
Dave, that one's for you. It's 54,500.
Oh.
Right.
Nice
1-1. 1-1-0-0. Next one, Rubber Soul. Rob, you mentioned it. Dave, you showed it. What was the release date of the UK Rubber Soul back in the day? The original Rubber Soul. When did it come out in the UK?
It was August. Was it August the 6th, 1965?
God, that's very precise. My God.
Who wants to shout out?
June 1st, 65.
June the 1st, 65.
July 15th, 65.
Oh, July's all summer stuff here. 65. Christian.
April the 28th, 65.
Oh, wow. Right, it was actually the 3rd of December, 65.
Oh, it's me then.
Rob, this is
Rob,
so
Rob's
dramatic, right?
This is-
1-1-1.
This is Rob's brazen thing come to life, right? Pretending that he knows exactly.
He said that with so much authority there, Rob, that I thought he actually knew that bang on because he just said it so
4 months out.
Yeah,
Right.
4 months out, not bad.
Right, 1-1-1.
My
Okay,
turn.
according to this is some January data I got from, what was it called? I can't remember. Basically, how much is the price of a pie at the Etihad Stadium? If you go
Yes,
to watch Man City and you order a pie, how much are you paying in pounds?
£5.
What did you say,
£6.
Bob? 5?
£5?
Yeah.
Exactly
Six-
£5, Rob?
675. I'm going for 675.
675.
Yeah.
Rob says 5.
Yeah.
Christian says 675.
Yeah.
Feel free,
I said
David.
6.
Oh, 6?
£6.
Oh,
£6.
I think it's
Right.
685.
Oh, 685. He's raised me by 10p.
I can tell you if you go to Arsenal, it was £8.85.
London
But-
prices, though, innit?
Rob, you're as if you've been there. It's £5.
Yeah,
Oh, Rob, bang on. Nice one. That's because he's been.
I've been, yeah. So,
I've been
Alright.
once to the Etihad, and that was to watch Take That and All Saints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw
No,
you.
it was
do them
true story. Yeah, it was true. Yeah,
Right.
I did.
Right.
I got 3
I'm conscious
tickets.
that Dave's battery's got 0 left, but Rob's winning 2-1
Yeah.
at the minute.
Yeah.
My last question is a Newcastle question.
Oh,
Last year, guys, how many goals did Newcastle score in the Premier League? How many goals did they score over the season in the Premier League?
61.
oof.
61.
I'm going to go for 44.
53.
49.
Fitz, you nailed it right on the head.
Oh.
It's 53.
Does that mean that we all scored 1
That
penalty?
means I've won.
Oh, it was Rob won.
Rob Walker can add another title to his titles. He's the penalty shootout king of
Well
the final
done, Rob.
whistle.
Well
2-1-1-1.
2-1-1-1.
Yeah.
Hey, at least we all scored a penalty.
Yeah.
Everyone got on the scoreboard. The Fitz
Yeah.
bang on there.
That was
Bang
a
on,
Newcastle ringer on that one. Yeah.
So what was that answer for Newcastle? What was it? 53.
53.
53. Right.
53 league goals last year.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if they'll get 53 this year.
I think if they can get the forward sorted out, I think. Well, I mean, Wissa didn't really score. I mean, he was injured, wasn't he? And Voltemade went off the point, didn't he? And I think they'll score more than 50. I would think they'll do.
You're still not asking me about my channel, by the way.
Oh, sorry, Rob.
Because you keep banging on about some shite unnecessaries or some whatever they're called.
Well, listen, we're heading towards autumn and all sorts of things start to happen, the VC and etc.
Yeah.
What are your plans for your channel?
There's been a revolution at my channel.
Your wife's taken over?
Yeah. No. So I'm doing a video every day now. So I do a short every day where I pick random singles from my collection. So I've been doing it for 20 days now. So, and it's like I'm noticing I've gotten, like when you look at analytics, like different age groups watching your channel and stuff like that. So that's what I'm trying to do, trying to appeal to a different.
Are you getting a lot of sort of female 25-year-olds watching?
Yeah. Right. My females used to be about 2.5%, and it's gone up to like 11% now.
Wow.
So since you've been doing the 7-inch thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, there's like 4% under 18s watching.
Wow.
6% up to 24. So it's like totally flipped, from my long form videos was nearly everybody was over 35.
Yeah.
Now there's like over 40% are under 35.
Wow.
So, and they're more likely, they could subscribe as well. So I'm trying to grow my channel a little bit really, because you get stuck in a bit of your channel's sort of going nowhere. So since I've done it, I've got like 50 subscribers in 2 weeks, and it's only because of that.
That's brilliant.
I'm still doing other videos as well, but I'm doing that every day, and I'm going to do that. I want to do it all year for 365.
365 days.
My views on my videos is there's like 5,000 views on my videos all the time because they're getting rewatched. So that's helping your channel, is just the way, and the countries people are watching from. It used to be just the UK, whereas now there's like people from Japan and, a high percentage. We're talking about percentages and figures. I like doing that with my channel and seeing things like that. I like that sort of stuff. So I'm enjoying doing that.
That's really cool, that, Rob. And they're nice and quick to put together as well for you, aren't they? So, you're not having to, sit for hours or whatever. You're just getting them done. And brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah, I've tried to be a bit more engaged on Instagram, actually, Gordon, as well. That's something I've been up to.
Yeah.
I only started that account in May, and I've tried to be a bit more active on Instagram and post some photographs.
It's gone off on the screen.
Which has been quite good. Sorry, Rob.
What's that?
I've got it on my TV, but it's gone off. It's like, oh no.
What's on your TV? Oh.
What's on the TV, Rob?
What's on the TV,
No, I was
Rob?
just looking at the TV. I've got the TV on.
You got the TV on.
Talking,
Sorry,
frozen,
right.
so.
Right.
Yeah, so I've been doing Instagram as well and trying to, like Rob, similar to Rob, but different in that I'm just trying to appeal to a different audience, maybe people that are more about just seeing photographs and stuff rather than watching long form content. So, primarily that is what I do, is long form. So I'm trying to mix it up by doing just stuff where I'm downstairs listening to tunes and just sticking a photograph online, and hopefully people will come to the channel that way as well.
Yeah. Maybe it's good to do a little mix of different things, isn't it?
Yeah,
Rather than
I think
the
so.
one.
Yeah.
The one.
I can't hear Christian. I can hear you, but I can't hear Christian.
It's probably for the best.
So,
Guys, I'm going to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you, Fitz.
Yeah, it's great to meet you guys as well.
Yeah.
And thank you for
What a
coordinating
pleasure.
this, Gordon. It was great.
What a
Yeah,
pleasure.
it's
It's so good to have you. Really, really appreciate it.
Been my pleasure.
Take
care,
care.
See you later,
Great to
Fitz.
see you,
See you
Fitz.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, great guy.
So yeah, maybe a good time just to head off, lads. But
Yeah.
really appreciate you both taking part. And I don't know if you fancy being around for more, because it wouldn't work without you. But that was brilliant.
Yeah, I can't hear Christian, me, so I can only hear you. I don't know what's happened there, but
I don't know what's happened to Christian.
no. Can you hear Christian?
Yeah.
All right.
Can Rob
He must
hear
have
me?
blocked me.
Oh, no, Rob
Christian,
can't hear me.
Christian,
I
is there
can
anything
hear-
you want
I
to?
can hear Rob.
Is there anything you want to say to Rob before we stop?
Yeah, fuck off.
No. It's been an absolute pleasure, Rob, as always. Yeah, tell him that, Gordon. It's been a pleasure.
He says,
I've really
it's
enjoyed
been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I've enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
As
he
always.
He always says nice things, doesn't he, Christian?
I do.
He don't
Yeah.
say nice things behind the scenes, but he says it here, doesn't
No, what you see
One
is
of
what
the-
you get. No,
one
what
of
you
the
see
good
is what you
guys.
get.
he? Yeah, he is.
One of the good guys. Right.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you.
doing this again.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks
Really
very much,
enjoyed it.
guys.
Thank you, Gordon, for
Nice
putting it
and good.
together. It's been
Right,
brilliant.
take care.
Thanks
See you
everyone tuning in as well. Yeah.
Yeah, take it easy, lads.
See you later.
See you later.
Try out. Bye.